A big list of worldwide psychology organizations at archive.org, then psymeet.com. web.archive.org/web/201907/http/www.psymeet.com/semeet/index.html Chapter 1. A big list of psychology organizations at archive.org, then psymeet.com. The guy at psymeet.com. This guy created this once massive website of psychology organizations and psychology meetings and conventions. Psymeet.com is still a shell of a website but does not have these lists anymore. At one time, Psymeet.com had this list which you could use to find a psychology organization's name, then click on it to get to its address and website. You can still find an old version of this website at archive.org and see this list there. The big list of psychology organizations that link to the addresses and websites. North Dakota, Division of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Puerto Rico, Administracio Acute, and de Servicios de Salud Mental y contra la Adicción Asimca. Hellenic Psychiatric Association. Institute Milton H. Erickson de Liege. A Casa da Cena Psicodrama Mineiro. A Center for Growth and Relationships. ABO Academiae, and Heden for Vaardwetenschap, Faculty of Social and Caring Sciences. Academia Portuguesa de Psico-Oncologia APPO, Portuguese Academy of Psycho-Oncology. Academy for Eating Disorders AED. Academy for Healthcare Education. Academy for Hypnotic Studies. Academy for International Health Studies. Academy for the Study of the Psychoanalytic Arts. Academy of Behavioral Medicine Research ABMR. Academy of Cognitive Therapy ACT. Academy of Family Mediators. Academy of Managed Care Providers AMCP. Academy of Management AOM. Academy of Management AOM, Managerial and Organizational Cognition Interest Group MASIG. Academy of Organizational and Occupational Psychiatry AOOP. Academy of Psychological Clinical Science. Academy of Psychosomatic Medicine APM. Academy Health. Accademia di Psicoterapia della Famiglia APF. Academy of Family Psychotherapy. Accreditation Council on Graduate Medical Education ACME. Ackerman Institute for the Family. ACTO Desenvolvimento Profissional e Pessoal ACTO. AdCare Educational Institute. Addiction Professional. Addictions Ontario. Adelaide Institute of Psychoanalysis AIPA. Adelphi University, School of Social Work. Adler Graduate School. Adler Professional Schools. Adler School of Professional Psychology. Adlerian Psychology Association of British Columbia APAC. Adlerian Society of Arizona ASA. Adlerian Society of Wales. Administration for Children, Youth and Families. Administrators in Academic Psychiatry AAP. Adult Children of Alcoholics ACA. Advanced Diagnostics. Advanced Planning Exchange APEX. Advanced Star Communications. AEDP Institute. Aerospace Medical Association ASMA. Aerotel Medical Systems. ESCA Working Group. Affiliated Psychoanalytic Work Groups APW. Africa Contact Group for Mental Health and Deafness ACMIT. Africa Telehealth Group. African Association of Psychiatrists and Allied Professionals AOPAP. African Counseling Network ACN. African Network for the Prevention and Protection Against Child Abuse and Neglect ANPCAN. African Society for Traumatic Stress Studies AFSTSS. African American Community Health Network ACHN. Age Concern England, the National Council on Aging. Aging Network Services. Agoraphobics in Motion. AHC Media. Aid to Adoption of Special Kids AASK. AIDS Clinical Trials Information Service AIDS Info. AIDS Health Project. AIDS Hotline. Lve Evlilik Terapileri Derneği AETD. Marital and Family Therapy Association, Turkey. and Shams University, Institute of Psychiatry. A.J. Novick Group. A.K. Rice Institute AKRI. Academy für Ethik in der Medizin, Academy für Ethics in Medicine. Academy für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie München, Munich Academy of Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy. Academy für Psychosomatische und Psychosoziale Medizin APPM. Academy of Psychosomatic and Psychosocial Medicine. Academie im Park. Akron General Medical Center. Al-Noor Hospital. Alabama Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI. Alabama Association for Marriage and Family Therapy Alamfeed. Alabama Council of Community Mental Health Boards. Alabama Department of Mental Health. Alabama Psychiatric Physicians Association APA. Alabama Psychological Association APA. Al-Anon/Al-18. Alaska Behavioral Health Association ABA. Alaska Division of Behavioral Health. Alaska Federal Health Care Access Network AFCAN. Alaska Psychiatric Association AKPA. Alaska Psychological Association AKPA. Alaska Telemedicine Project ADP. Al-18. Al-18 Family Group Headquarters. Albanian Medical Association, Section on Psychiatry and Neurology. Albanian Psychiatric Association. Albert E. Triashman Center. Albert Einstein College of Medicine Ecom. Center for Continuing Medical Education. Albert Ellis Institute AEI. Alberta Association of Marriage and Family Therapy AMFED. Alberta Children's Hospital. Alberta College of Social Workers ACSW. Alberta Medical Association AMA. Alberta Society for the Promotion of Sexual Health ASPSHARE. Alcohol and Drug Foundation, Queensland ADFQ. Alcohol and Drug Problems Association of North America ADPA. Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Providers of New York State ASAP. Alderman and Marshall. Allegheny University of the Health Sciences. Alliance for Aging Research. Alliance for Children and Families. Alliance for Children and Families, Western Region. Alliance for Health Reform. Alliance for the Mentally Ill, Madras. Alliance for the Mentally Ill/Friends and Advocates of the Mentally Ill AMI/FAMI. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI. Maine. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI DC Threshold. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI Illinois State Coalition. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Iowa. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Maryland. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Massachusetts. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Michigan. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Minnesota. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Nevada. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of New Hampshire. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of New Mexico. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Ohio. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Pennsylvania. Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI of Rhode Island. Alliance for the Mentally Ill in Delaware AMID. Alliance for the Mentally Ill of Vermont AMI Vermont. Alliance of Information and Referral Services AIRS. Alliance pour les malades mentaux AMI Quebec, Alliance for the Mentally Ill. Alana Health System. Alternative Federative de Associations de Psychiatrie Alfapsi. Alternative Federation of Psychiatric Associations. Alzheimer Angehorige Austria. Alzheimer Dernegie, Turkish Alzheimer Society. Alzheimer Europe. Alzheimer Ibero-America IB. Alzheimer Netherlands. Alzheimer Scotland. Alzheimer Society of Canada. Alzheimer Society of Ireland. Alzheimer Society of Serbia and Montenegro. Alzheimer Keskuslatori, Alzheimer Society of Finland. Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Society of India ARDSI. Alzheimer's and Dementia Awareness Society. Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Association of Thailand ARDA. Alzheimer's and Related Disorders Foundation of Lanka. Alzheimer's Association. Alzheimer's Association Japan. Alzheimer's Association Korea. Alzheimer's Association Lebanon. Alzheimer's Association of Indonesia. Alzheimer's Association of Israel. Alzheimer's Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Alzheimer's Association Victoria. Alzheimer's Association Northern Virginia Chapter. Alzheimer's Australia. Alzheimer's Disease Association, Singapore, ADA. Alzheimer's Disease Association of Nigeria. Alzheimer's Disease Association of the Philippines ADAP. Alzheimer's Disease Education and Referral Center. Alzheimer's Disease Foundation Malaysia. Alzheimer's Disease International ADI. Alzheimer's Disease Society. Alzheimer's New Zealand. Alzheimer's Pakistan. Alzheimer's South Africa. MSHA, Israeli Centers for Holocaust Survivors and the Second Generation. Amend. America IE. American Academy of Addiction Psychiatry AAAP. American Academy of Ambulatory Care Nursing AACN. American Academy of Arts and Sciences. American Academy of Bereavement AB. American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry ASAP. American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry ASAP. Regional Council of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry of Eastern Pennsylvania and Southern New Jersey RCAP. American Academy of Clinical Neuropsychology AACN. American Academy of Clinical Psychiatrists AACP. American Academy of Counseling Psychology AACOP. American Academy of Disability Evaluating Physicians AADEP. American Academy of Experts in Behavioral Health and Safety AIABS. American Academy of Experts in Traumatic Stress. American Academy of Family Physicians AAFP. American Academy of Forensic Psychology AAFP. American Academy of Forensic Sciences AAFS. Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences Section. American Academy of Medical Administrators AAMA. American Academy of Medical Hypnoanalysts AAMH. American Academy of Neurology AAN. American Academy of Nurse Practitioners AANP. American Academy of Nursing. American Academy of Pain Management AAPM. American Academy of Pain Medicine AAPM. American Academy of Pediatrics AAP. American Academy of Psychiatry and the Law AAPL. American Academy of Psychiatry and the Law AAPL, Tri-State Chapter. American Academy of Psychoanalysis and Dynamic Psychiatry OPP. American Academy of Psychotherapists. American Academy of Sleep Medicine AASM. American Accreditation Healthcare Commission /URAC. American Anorexia and Bulimia Association AABA. American Anorexia/Bulimia Association. New Jersey Chapter. American Anthropological Association AAA. American Art Therapy Association AATA. American Association for Counseling and Development. American Association for Emergency Psychiatry AAEP. American Association for Geriatric Psychiatry AAGP. American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy AMFED. American Association for Medical Chronobiology and Chronotherapeutics AMIC. American Association for Psychosocial Rehabilitation AAPR. American Association for Social Psychiatry AASP. American Association for Technology in Psychiatry AATP. American Association for the Advancement of Science AAAS. American Association for the History of Medicine. American Association for the History of Nursing AAHN. American Association for the Study of Mental Imagery ASMI. American Association for the Treatment of Opioid Dependence AODOD. American Association of Anger Management Providers. American Association of Applied and Preventive Psychology AOP. American Association of Chairman of Departments of Psychiatry OCP. American Association of Children's Residential Centers ACRC. American Association of Colleges of Nursing AACN. American Association of Community Psychiatrists AACP. American Association of Critical Care Nurses. American Association of Directors of Psychiatric Residency Training IOD-PAIRT. American Association of General Hospital Psychiatrists AIP. American Association of Health Plans AAHP. American Association of Homes and Services for the Aging ASA. American Association of Integrated Healthcare Delivery Systems AIDS. American Association of Managed Care Nurses AMACN. American Association of Neuroscience Nurses AANN. American Association of Occupational Health Nurses AAON. American Association of Pastoral Counselors. American Association of People of Color Mental Health Consumers. American Association of Practicing Psychiatrists AAPP. American Association of Psychiatric Administrators AAPA. American Association of Psychiatric Administrators, New York Regional Chapter. American Association of Psychiatric Services for Children. American Association of Psychiatric Technicians AAPT. American Association of Psychotherapists AAP. American Association of Retired Persons AARP. American Association of School Administrators AASA. American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists AASECT. American Association of Social Work Boards ASWB. American Association of Spinal Cord Injury Psychologists and Social Workers AASIPSW. American Association of State Counseling Boards ASIB. American Association of Suicidology AAS. American Association of University Professors AAUP. American Association on Mental Retardation AAMR. American Association on Mental Retardation AAMR, Chapitre Québécois de l'Association Américaine du Retard Mental. American Association on Mental Retardation AAMR, Region 2 Chapter. American Association on Mental Retardation AAMR. Region 8 Chapter. American Back Society. American Baleen Society. American Bar Association ABA, Commission on Mental and Physical Disability. American Board of Adolescent Psychiatry. American Board of Certified Managed Care Providers. American Board of Clinical Neuropsychology ABCN. American Board of Examiners in Clinical Social Work AB. American Board of Examiners in Psychodrama, Sociometry and Group Psychotherapy AB. American Board of Forensic Psychology ABFP. American Board of Health Psychology. American Board of Hypnotherapy. American Board of Managed Care Medicine. American Board of Professional Neuropsychology ABPN. American Board of Professional Psychology ABPP. American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology ABPN. American Board of Quality Assurance and Utilization Review Physicians ABCorp. American Clinical Neurophysiology Society. American College Counseling Association ACCA. American College Health Association ACHA. American College of Cardiology. American College of Clinical Pharmacology AACP. American College of Counselors ACC. American College of Emergency Physicians. American College of Forensic Examiners ACFE. American College of Forensic Psychiatry ACFP. American College of Forensic Psychology. American College of Gynecology. American College of Integrated Delivery Systems ACIDS. American College of Managed Care Medicine. American College of Medical Practice Executives ACMP. American College of Medical Quality ACMQ. American College of Mental Health Administration ACMHA. American College of Neuropsychopharmacology ACNP. American College of Nurse Practitioners. American College of Nurse Midwives. American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists ACOG. American College of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. American College of Physicians ACP. American College of Preventive Medicine ACPM. American College of Psychiatrists ACP. American College of Psychoanalysts ACOPSA. American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygienists ACUA. American Congress of Rehabilitation Medicine ACRM. American Council for Drug Education ACDE. American Council for Headache Education AC. American Council of the Blind. American Counseling Association ACA. American Dance Therapy Association ADTA. American Dental Association. American Diabetes Association ADA. American Educational Research Association AERA. American Epilepsy Society AES. American Evaluation Association AEA. American Family Foundation F. American Family Therapy Academy AFTA. American Federation for Aging Research AFAR. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention AFSP. American Geriatrics Society AGS. American Group Psychotherapy Association AGPA. American Headache Society AHS. American Health Assistance Foundation AHAF. American Health Care Association AHCA. American Health Foundation. American Health Information Management Association AHIMA. American Healthcare Institute AHI. American Heart Association. American Holistic Nurses Association AHNA. American Horticultural Therapy Association AHTA. American Hospital Association AHA. American Hospital Association. Section for Psychiatric and Substance Abuse Services. American Humane Association. American Hyperlexia Association AHA. American Hypnosis Training Academy AHTA. American Institute for Cognitive Therapy AICT. American Institute of Life-Threatening Illness and Loss. American Institute of Medical Education AIMD. American Institute of Stress ACE. American International Health Alliance AIHA. American Journal of Health Promotion and Wellness. American Journal of Psychotherapy. American Lyme Disease Foundation. American Managed Behavioral Health Care Association AMHA. American Managed Care and Review Association. American Managed Health Care Association. American Medical Association AMA. American Medical Development AMD. American Medical Directors Association AMDA. American Medical Electroencephalographic Association AMEGA. American Medical Informatics Association AMIA. American Medical Seminars AMS. American Medical Student Association AMSA. American Medical Women's Association. American Medical Writers Association AMWA. American Mental Health Alliance, USA AMHA USA. American Mental Health Counselors Association AMITCA. American Music Therapy Association AMTA. American Neurological Association. American Neuropsychiatric Association ANPA. American Nurses Association ANA. American Nursing Informatics Association ANIAT. American Occupational Therapy Association AOTA. American Orthopsychiatric Association Ortho. American Osteopathic Association AOA. American Osteopathic Association of Addictive Medicine AOM. American Pain Society APS. American Parkinson's Disease Association. American Pediatric Society/Society for Pediatric Research APS/SPR. American Pharmaceutical Association APHA. American Physician Institute for Advanced Professional Studies. American Physiological Society. American Professional Society on the Abuse of Children APSIC. American Psychiatric Association APA. American Psychiatric Association. Committee on Telemedical Services. American Psychiatric Electrophysiology Association APEA. American Psychiatric Nurses Association APNA. American Psychiatrists for Neutrality on Abortion APNOA. American Psychoanalytic Association APSAA. American Psychoanalytic Foundation. American Psychological Association APA. American Psychological Association APA, Division 12, Section 3, Society for a Science of Clinical Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 14, Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology, SIOP. American Psychological Association APA, Division 17, Counseling Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 18, Psychologists in Public Service. American Psychological Association APA, Division 2, Society for the Teaching of Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 20, Adult Development and Aging. American Psychological Association APA, Division 23, Society for Consumer Psychology, SCP. American Psychological Association APA, Division 24, Association for the Advancement of Philosophy and Psychiatry, AAPP. American Psychological Association APA, Division 26, Society for the History of Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 27, Society for Community Research and Action, SCRA. American Psychological Association APA, Division 28, Psychopharmacology and Substance Abuse. American Psychological Association APA, Division 29, Psychotherapy. American Psychological Association APA, Division 30, Society of Psychological Hypnosis. American Psychological Association APA, Division 32, Humanistic Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 38, Health Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 39, Psychoanalysis. American Psychological Association APA, Division 40, Clinical Neuropsychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 41, American Psychology Law Society, APLS. American Psychological Association APA, Division 44, Society for the Psychological Study of Lesbian, Gay and Bisexual Issues. American Psychological Association APA, Division 47, Exercise and Sports Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 49, Group Psychology and Group Psychotherapy. American Psychological Association APA, Division 51, Society for the Psychological Study of Men and Masculinity, SPSMM. American Psychological Association APA, Division 52, International Psychology. American Psychological Association APA, Division 54, Society of Pediatric Psychology, SPP. American Psychological Association APA, Division 55, American Society for the Advancement of Pharmacotherapy ASAP. American Psychological Association APA, Division 8, Society for Personality and Social Psychology, SPSP. American Psychological Association APA, Division 9, Society for the Psychological Study of Social Issues, SPSI. American Psychological Association of Graduate Students APGS. American Psychology Law Society APLS. American Psychopathological Association APA. American Psychosocial Oncology Society APOS. American Psychosomatic Society APS. American Psychotherapy and Medical Hypnosis Association APMHA. American Psychotherapy Association APA. American Public Health Association APHA. American Public Human Services Associations AFSA. American Rehabilitation Counseling Association ARCA. American School Counselor Association ASCA. American School Health Association ASHA. American Self-Help Group Clearing House. American Social Health Association ASHA. American Society for Adolescent Psychiatry ASAP. American Society for Bioethics and Humanities. American Society for Clinical Pharmacology and Therapeutics ASCT. American Society for Experimental Neurotherapeutics ASCENT. American Society for Neurochemistry. American Society for Neuroimaging. American Society for Psychosomatic Medicine. American Society of Addiction Medicine ASSAM. American Society of Clinical Hypnosis ASH. American Society of Clinical Psychopharmacology ASCP. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, California Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Delaware Valley Collective. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Florida Collective. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Hudson Valley Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Mid-Atlantic Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Mid-South Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Midwest Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, New England Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, New Jersey Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, New Mexico Collective. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, New York Chapter. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Northern California Collective. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, Texas Collective. American Society of Group Psychotherapy and Psychodrama Ask, American Society of Health System Pharmacists AHSP. American Society of Hispanic Psychiatry ASHP. American Society of Human Genetics ASHG. American Society of Internal Medicine ASIM. American Society of Law, Medicine and Ethics. American Society of Neuroradiology ASNR. American Society of Professional Education ASPE. American Society of Psychoanalytic Physicians. American Society on Aging ASA. American Sociological Association ASA. American Suicide Foundation. American Telecare ATI. American Telemedicine Association ATA. American Therapeutic Recreation Association ATRA. American University in Cairo, Sociology, Anthropology, Psychology, and Egyptology. Amiga Center for Professional Development. Anna Bodner. Anderson and Anderson. Andrews and Clark Explorations. Anglia Polytechnic University. Chelmsford APU. Animal Behavior Society ABS. Animapsychodrama e Educacao Animus. Ankara Numune Research and Training Hospital. Anna Freud Center AFC. Annette Goodhart. Anorexia Nervosa and Bulimia Association ANAB. Anorexia Nervosa and Related Eating Disorders and RED. Anti-Psychiatry Coalition. Anton Proksch Institute API. Anxiety Disorders Association of America ADAA. Anxiety Disorders Association of Victoria Otovic. Anxiety Disorders Foundation of Australia ADF. Anxiety Disorders Institute. APRECU. APS Healthcare. APS. Arab Federation of Non-Governmental Organizations for Drug Abuse Prevention of NDA. Arab Federation of Psychiatrists. Arab Gulf Psychiatric Association. Arab Psychological Association. Arbeitsgemeinschaft für Informationsverarbeitung in der Gynäkologie und Geburtshilfe AIG. Arbeitsgemeinschaft für Neuropsychopharmacologie und Pharmacopsychiatry AGNP. Association of Neuropsychopharmacology and Pharmaceutical Psychiatry. Arbeitsgemeinschaft für Verhaltensmodification AVM, Association for Behavior Modification. Arbeitsgruppen für Studium AV Leaderskap Organisation AGSLO, Working Party for the Study of Leadership and Organization. Arbeitslebensinstitut, National Institute for Working Life. Arbors Crisis Center. Arch National Respite Network and Resource Center. Archives of the History of American Psychology AHAP. ARIPICS, Intervention Consultation Supervision Psychologics. Aristotle University of Thessaloniki Auth. Arizona Association for Marriage and Family Therapy AZAMFT. Arizona Association for Play Therapy. Arizona Department of Behavioral Health Services. Arizona Fathers and Families Coalition ASFC. Arizona Group Psychotherapy Society AZGPS. Arizona Psychiatric Society APS. Arizona Psychological Association AZPA. Arizona State University, Division of Psychology in Education. Arizona State University. Preventive Intervention Research Center PIRC. Arizona Telebehavioral Health Network. Arkansas Association for Marriage and Family Therapy ARAMFT. Arkansas Division of Behavioral Health Services. Arkansas Medical Society. Arkansas Psychiatric Society. Arkansas Psychological Association ARPA. Arkhangelsk Telemedicine Center. ARMA International. Armenian Psychiatric Association. Arnold Pfeffer Center for Neuropsychoanalysis. Around Table 98. Art Therapy Center. Art Therapy World Congress. Arthur P. Noyes Research Foundation. ASEAN Federation for Psychiatry and Mental Health of MIT. Asia Pacific Association for Medical Informatics APAMI. Asia Pacific RIM International Counseling Conference. Asian American Psychological Association AAPA. Asian Association of Social Psychology AASP. Asian Federation for Psychotherapy AFP. Asian Federation for Sexology. Asian Federation of Early Career Psychiatrists AFEP. Asian Federation of Psychiatric Associations AFPA. Asian Pacific Association of Psychotherapists. Asian Pacific Neural Network Assembly APNA. Asian Professional Counseling Association APCA. Association ADHD Capítulo Venezuela. Association Alzheimer Argentina. Argentina Alzheimer's Association. Association Andaluza de Neuropsiquiatría AAN. Association Argentina de Ayuda a la Persona que padece Esquizofrenia y su Familia APEF. Association Argentina de Ciencias del Comportamiento AAAC, Argentina Association of Behavior Sciences. Association Argentina de Ginecologia y Obstetricia Psicosomática, Argentina Association of Psychosomatic Gynecology and Obstetrics. Association Argentina de Informática Médica AAIM, Argentina Association of Medical Information. Association Argentina de Internet Médica y Bioinformática at SAIM. Association Argentina de Psicologia y Psicoterapia de Grupo OPC, Argentina Association of Group Psychology and Psychotherapy. Association Argentina de Psiquiatras AAP, Argentinian Association of Psychiatrists. Association Argentina de Psiquiatria Biológica. Argentina Association of Biological Psychiatry. Association Argentina de Psiquiatria Infantil y Profesiones Afines AAPI. Association Argentina de Psiquiatria Infanto-Juvenil y Profesiones Afines AAPI, Argentina Association of Child Psychiatry and Related Professions. Association Argentina de Psiquiatria y Psicología de la Infancia y de la Adolescencia ASAPIA, Argentina Association of the Psychiatry and Psychology of Infancy and Adolescence. Association Argentina de Salud Mental AASM, Argentina Association of Mental Health. Association Argentina de Psicodrama, Argentina Association of Sociodrama. Association Argentina de Trastornos de Ansiedad AATA, Argentina Association for Anxiety Treatment. Association Balear de Salud Mental, Balearic Association of Mental Health. Association Colombiana de Alzheimer y Disordines Relacionados, Colombia Association of Alzheimer's and Related Disorders. Association Colombiana de Psiquiatria ACP. Colombia Psychiatric Association. Association Colombiana de Psiquiatria Biológica, Colombia Association of Biological Psychiatry. Association Colombiana para el Avance de las Ciencias del Comportamiento ABA Colombia, Colombia Association for the Advancement of Behavioral Sciences. Association Costarricense de Alzheimer y otras Dementias Asociadas, Costa Rica Association for Alzheimer's and Associated Dementias. Association Cubana de Psiquiatria, Cuban Society of Psychiatrists. Association de Alzheimer y Desórdenes Relacionados de Puerto Rico, Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders Association of Puerto Rico. Asociación de Amigos y Familiares de Enfermos Psíquicos of Ops. Asociación de Familiares Alzheimer de El Salvador, El Salvador Association of Alzheimer Families. Asociación de Familiares de Enfermos de Alzheimer de Gran Canaria. Gran Canaria Association of Relatives of Alzheimer Patients. Asociación de Lucha contra el Mal de Alzheimer. Asociación de Lucha contra el Mal de Alzheimer Alma. Asociación de Psicología de Puerto Rico Psychological Association. Asociación de Psicoterapia de la República Argentina Opera. Asociación de Psiquiatras Argentinos APSA, Argentine Psychiatric Association. Asociación de Psiquiatría y Psicopatológica de la Infancia y la Adolescencia, Uruguay APIA. Asociación de Unidades Académicas de Psicología AUASI. Asociación Dominicana de Alzheimer, Dominican Alzheimer's Association. Asociación Dominicana de Psicología, Dominican Association of Psychology. Asociación Ecuatoriana de Psiquiatría, Ecuadorian Psychiatric Association. Asociación Española contra el Cáncer, Spanish Cancer Association. Asociación Española de Neuropsiquiatría, Profesionales de Salud Mental AEN, Spanish Association of Neuropsychiatry. Mental Health Professionals. Asociación Española de Patología Dual AEPD, Spanish Association for Dual Diagnosis. Asociación Española de Psicodrama AEP, Spanish Psychodrama Association. Asociación Española de Psicología Conductual AEPC, Spanish Association of Behavioral Psychology. Asociación Española de Psicoterapias Cognitivas ASEPCO, Spanish Association for Cognitive Therapies. Asociación Española de Psiquiatría del Niño y del Adolescente AEP New York A, Spanish Association of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Asociación Española para el Avance de la Psicología EPAP, Spanish Association for the Advancement of Psychology. Asociación Europea de Psiquiatría Social, European Association of Social Psychology. Asociación Gestaltica de Buenos Aires AGBA, Buenos Aires Gestalt Association. Asociación Grupo Ermita. Asociación Hispana de Documentalistas. Asociación Latinoamericana de Análisis y Modificación del Comportamiento Alámico. Latin American Association for Behavior Analysis and Behavior Modification. Asociación Latinoamericana de Cefalia. Asociación Latinoamericana de Rorschach y Métodos Proyectivos ALER. Asociación Madrilena de Rehabilitación Psicosocial AMRP. Asociación Médica Argentina AMA, Medical Association of Argentina. Asociación Mexicana de Psicología Social AMEPSO, Mexican Association of Social Psychology. Asociación Mexicana de Psicoterapia Analítica de Grupo AMPAG. Asociación Mexicana de Psiquiatría Infantil AMPI. Asociación Mexicana para la Salud Sexual, Mexican Association of Sexual Health. Asociación Neuropsiquiátrica Argentina ANA, Argentina Neuropsychiatric Association. Asociación Nicaraguans de Psicólogos, Nicaragua Psychological Association. Asociación Nicaraguans de Psiquiatría, Nicaragua Psychiatric Association. Asociación Panameña de Medicina de la Adicción, Panamanian Society of Addiction Medicine. Asociación Peruana de Enfermedad de Alzheimer y otras demencias APID. Peruvian Association for Alzheimer's Disease and Other Dementias. Asociación Psicoanalítica Argentina APA, Argentine Psychoanalytic Association. Asociación Psicoanalítica Chilena APCH, Chilean Psychoanalytic Association. Asociación Psicoanalítica Colombiana, Colombian Psychoanalytic Association. Asociación Psicoanalítica de Buenos Aires APDEBA, Buenos Aires Psychoanalytic Association. Asociación Psicoanalítica de Córdoba APC, Psychoanalytic Association of Córdoba. Asociación Psicoanalítica de Madrid. Asociación Psicológica Iberoamericana de Clínica y Salud APICSA. Asociación Psiquiátrica de América Latina APAL, Latin American Psychiatric Association. Asociación Psiquiátrica Guatemalteca, Guatemala Psychiatric Association. Asociación Psiquiátrica Mexicana APM, Mexican Psychiatric Association. Asociación Psiquiátrica Nicaraguans, Nicaraguan Psychiatric Association. Asociación Psiquiátrica Peruana, Peruvian Psychiatric Association. Asociación Salvadoreña de Psiquiátrica ASP. Salvadoran Psychiatric Association. Asociación Síndrome de Down de la República Argentina Istra, Down Syndrome Association of the Republic of Argentina. Asociación Uruguaya de Alzheimer y Similars, Uruguay Association for Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders. Asociación Venezolana de Psicoanálisis ASAVAP, Venezuela Association for Psychoanalysis. Asociación Argentina de Psicodiagnóstico de Rorschach APRO, Argentina Association for Rorschach Psychodiagnosis. Asociación Venezolana de Psicoterapia AVAPSI, Venezuela Association for Psychotherapy. Asociația Psihologilor din Romania, Romanian Psychologists Association. Asociația Studentilor Psihology din Transylvania, Transylvania Student Psychologist Association. Asociația de Psychiatry Socială din Romania APSR. Romanian Association for Social Psychiatry RASP. Aspen Institute. Asperger Syndrome Educational Network Aspen. Assertive Community Treatment Association ACTA. Assisted Living Association of America. Assisted Living Federation of America. Asociação Baiana de Psicodrama e Psicoterapia de Grupo ASPAP. Asociação Brasileira de Alzheimer ABRAZ, Brazil Alzheimer's Association. Asociação Brasileira de Doenças Análise ABDA, Brazil Association for Existential Analysis. Asociação Brasileira de Estudos do Álcool e Outras Drogas ABID, Brazilian Association of Studies of the Alcohol and Other Drugs. Asociação Brasileira de Medicina Psicossomática, Brazilian Association of Psychosomatic Medicine. Asociação Brasileira de Neurologia e Psiquiatria Infantil e Profissões Afins a Benipai, Brazil Association of Child Neurology and Psychiatry and Related Professions. Asociação Brasileira de Neuropsychiatria Geriátrica ABN. Brazilian Association of Geriatric Neuropsychiatry. Asociação Brasileira de Psicodrama e Sociodrama ABPS, Brazil Association of Psychodrama and Sociodrama. Asociação Brasileira de Psicologia Escolar e Educacional ABRAPE, Brazil Association of School and Educational Psychology. Asociação Brasileira de Psicólogos e Profissionais de Saúde Mental Online ABRAPSMOL, Brazil Association of Online Psychologists and Mental Health Professionals. Asociação Brasileira de Psicoterapia Analítica de Grupo ABPAG. Asociação Brasileira de Psychiatria ABP, Brazilian Psychiatric Association. Asociação Brasileira do Déficit de Atenção ABDA, Brazilian Association for Attention Deficit Disorder. Asociação Brasileira para o Conjunto da Filosofia, Psicopatologia e Psicoterapia ABRAFIP, Brazilian Association for the Joint Development of Philosophy, Psychopathology, and Psychotherapy. Asociação Brasileira para Estudo do Psicologia Psicoanalítica do Self-ABIPS. Brazilian Association for the Study of Psychoanalytic Self-Psychology. Asociação de Psicoterapia Corporal do Rio de Janeiro APCR, Rio de Janeiro Association for Somatic Psychotherapy. Asociação Latino-Americana de Psicoterapias Cognitivas. Asociação Luso-Brasileira de Transpessoal Alubrat, Portuguese Brazilian Transpersonal Association. Asociação Mineira de Psychiatria AMP, Mineira Association of Psychiatry. Associação Nacional de Estudantes de Psicologia, National Association of Psychology Students. Asociação Portuguesa de Familiares e Amigos de Doentes de Alzheimer APFADA, Portuguese Association of Families and Friends of Alzheimer's Disease. Asociação Portuguesa de Patologia Dual APPD, Portuguese Association for Dual Diagnosis. Asociação Portuguesa de Psicoterapia Centrada na Pessoa e de Counseling, Portuguese Association for Person-Centered Psychotherapy and Counseling. Associação Psiquiátrica de Brasília APBR. Psychiatric Association of Brasilia. Associação Psiquiátrica do Estado do Rio de Janeiro APRJ, Rio de Janeiro State Psychiatric Association. Associated Professional Sleep Societies APSS. Association Algérienne de Psychiatres d'Exercice Privé epub, Algerian Association of Private Psychiatrists. Association Alzheimer Suisse, Schweizerische Alzheimer Vereinigung. Association Angevin pour la Recherche en Psychiatrie AARP. Association de langue française pour l'étude du stress traumatique ALFEST, Francophone Association for the Study of Traumatic Stress. Association de Psychologie Scientifique de langue française APSLOF, Francophone Association for Scientific Psychology. Association de Recherche sur les troubles bipolaires ARTP. Association de Intervenants en Toxicomanie du Québec AITQ. Association de Médecins Psychiatres de Québec AMPQ, Quebec Association of Psychiatric Physicians. Association de Parents et Amis de Patients en Santé Mentale du Sud-Ouest APOPSMSO. Southwest Association of Friends and Parents of Mental Health Patients. Association de Psychologues Diplôme, Association of Certified Psychologists. Association Egyptian de Psychanalyse. Egyptian Association of Psychoanalysis. Association Essence. Association for Academic Psychiatry AAP. Association for Adult Development and Aging. Association for Advanced Training in the Behavioral Sciences ADPS. Association for Ambulatory Behavioral Healthcare AABH. Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor AATH. Association for Applied Psychophysiology and Biofeedback AAPB. Association for Applied Sport Psychology AASP. Association for Behavior Analysis International ABA International. Association for Behavioral and Cognitive Therapies ABCT. Association for Child and Adolescent Mental Health ACOMITE. Association for Child and Youth Care Practice ASICP. Association for Child Psychoanalysis ACP. Association for Children and Adults with Learning Disabilities. Association for Children's Mental Health. Association for Clinical Psychosocial Research. Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology ACEP. Association for Computer Manufacture ACM. Special Interest Group on Computer Human Interaction SIGCHI. Association for Computers and the Social Sciences. Association for Computing Machinery ACM. Association for Computing Machinery ACM, Special Interest Group on Applied Computing SIGAP. Association for Conflict Resolution ACR. Association for Counselor Education and Supervision ACES. Association for Counselors and Educators in Government ACEG. Association for Couples in Marital Enrichment ACME. Association for Death Education and Counseling ADEC. Association for Education in Journalism and Mass Communication EJMC. Association for Experiential Education. Association for Family Therapy and Systemic Practice in the UK AFT. Association for Gerontology in Higher Education. Association for Humanistic Psychology. Association for Imago Relationship Therapy AIRT. Association for Informatics in Medicine. Singapore AIMS. Association for Intelligent Machinery AIM. Association for Medical Education and Research in Substance Abuse AMERSA. Association for Moral Education AIM. Association for Neuropsychoeconomics. Association for Persons with Severe Handicaps TASH. Association for Play Therapy APT. Association for Pre- and Perinatal Psychology and Health APA. Association for Process Psychology AP. Association for Psychoanalytic Medicine APM. Association for Psychoanalytic Psychotherapy in the National Health Service AP. Association for Psychoanalytic Self-Psychology APSP. Association for Psychoanalytic Thought APT. Association for Psychocutaneous Medicine of North America. Association for Psychological and Educational Research in Kansas PERC. Association for Psychological Science APS. Association for Psychological Therapies APT. Association for Psychological Type APT. Association for Qualitative Research AQR. Association for Research in Nervous and Mental Disease ARND. Association for Research in Personality ARP. Association for Specialists in Group Work ASGW. Association for Support of Alzheimer's Disease Victims. Association for Survey Computing ASC. Association for the Advancement of Assistive Technology in Europe AOT. Association for the Advancement of Automotive Medicine AAAM. Association for the Advancement of Computing in Education AS. Association for the Advancement of Gestalt Therapy AAGT. Association for the Advancement of Philosophy and Psychiatry AAPP. Association for the Behavioral Sciences and Medical Education ABSAME. Association for the Development of the Person-Centered Approach ADPCA. Association for the Person-Centered Approach South Africa APCASA. Association for the Problems of Alzheimer's Disease. Association for the Psychoanalysis of Culture and Society APCs. Association for the Scientific Study of Consciousness ASSC. Association for the Study of Medical Education ASME. Association for the Study of Play TASP. Association for the Treatment of Sexual Abusers ATSA. Association for Transpersonal Psychology ATP. Association for Ukrainian Telemedicine and E-Health Development AFUTID. Association for University and College Counseling Center Directors AUCT. Association Française de Thérapie Comportementale Cognitive AFUC, French Association of Cognitive Behavior Therapy. Association Française de Psychiatres d'Exercice Prive of PEP, French Association of Private Psychiatrists. Association Française de Psychologues Scolaires AFPS, French Association of Academic Psychologists. Association Française de Hypnothérapie, French Association of Clinical Hypnosis. Association Française d'Informatique Médicale, French Association for Medical Informatics. Association Française du Transpersonnel AFT. Association Française pour les applications de l'informatique à la médecine AIM. Association Franco-Maghrébine de Psychiatry. French Maghreb Psychiatric Association. Association Internationale Freudienne. Association Internationale de Psychiatrie Spirituelle AISP, International Association of Spiritual Psychiatry. Association Lacanienne Internationale Ali. Association l'Ire Genève. Association Luxembourg Alzheimer Allah, Luxemburger Alzheimer Vereinigung. Association Marocaine d'études psychologiques, Moroccan Association for Psychological Studies. Association Marocaine de Psychiatres d'Exercice Prive MPEP. Moroccan Association of Private Psychiatrists. Association of Albanian Psychologists. Association of American Medical Colleges AAMC. Association of American Physicians and Surgeons AAPS. Association of Baccalaureate Social Work Program Directors BPD. Association of Birth Defect Children ABDC. Association of Black Psychologists ABPSY. Association of Child and Adolescent Psychiatric Nurses ACAPN. Association of Child Psychiatrists and Psychologists of Armenia ACPP. Association of Child Psychotherapists ACP. Association of Children's Welfare Agencies ACWA. Association of Clinicians for the Underserved ACU. Association of Counseling Center Training Agencies. Association of Counselors of the International Community in Asia. Association of Directors of Medical Student Education in Psychiatry ADMZEP. Association of Enneagram Teachers in the Narrative Tradition AET. Association of Family and Conciliation Courts AFCC. Association of Florida Registered Nurses First Assistants FLARNFA. Association of Gay and Lesbian Psychiatrists AGLP. Association of Greek Psychologists. Association of Icelandic Psychology. Association of Integrative Research, Counseling and Psychotherapy epub, Associação de Cercedere, Conciliara e Psicoterapia Integrativa. Association of Internet Researchers AOIR. Association of Japanese Clinical Psychology AJCP, Nihon Shinri Rensho Gakai. Association of Korean American Psychiatrists. Association of Lesbian and Gay Psychologists, the Netherlands. Association of Lesbian, Gay and Bisexual Psychologists Europe ALGP Europe. Association of Lesbian, Gay and Bisexual Psychologists UK ALGP UK. Association of Management and the International Association of Management AOM/IAOM. Association of Medical Directors of Information Systems AMDIS. Association of Medical Education and Research in Substance Abuse. Association of Medicine and Psychiatry. Association of Mental Health Administrators AMHA. Association of Mental Health Librarians. Association of Mental Health Professionals in Corrections. Association of Mental Health Specialties. Association of Mormon Counselors and Psychotherapists AMCAP. Association of Neuroscience Departments and Programs ANDP. Association of Newfoundland Psychologists. Association of Occupational Therapists in Mental Health. Association of Oncology Social Work AOSW. Association of Pediatric Oncology Nurses APON. Association of Pediatric Oncology Social Workers APASW. Association of Physicians of India. Association of Portuguese Psychiatry. Association of Postdoctoral Programs in Clinical Neuropsychology APN. Association of Private Psychiatric Hospitals. Association of Professional Behavior Analysts APBA. Association of Psychiatric Outpatient Centers of the Americas. Association of Psychiatrists and Narcologists. Association of Psychiatrists and Narcologists of Kazakhstan. Association of Psychiatrists in Africa. Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria APN. Association of Psychiatrists of Tajikistan. Association of Psychologists of Nova Scotia APNS. Association of Psychology Postdoctoral and Internship Centers APIC. Association of Psychology Students APSI. Association of Rehabilitation Nurses ARN. Association of Relatives and Friends of People with Mental Illness ARAFMI. Association of Relatives and Friends of the Emotionally and Mentally Ill ARAFMI. Association of State and Provincial Psychology Boards ASP. Association of Teachers of Preventative Medicine. Association of Telehealth Service Providers ATSP. Association of Therapeutic Communities. Association of Traumatic Stress Specialists. ATSS. Association of University Professors of Neurology AUPN. Association of University Professors of Psychiatry, United Kingdom. Association of University Programs in Health Administration AFA. Association of VA Psychologist Leaders AVAPL. Association of Virgin Islands Psychologists. Association of Women in Psychology AWP. Association of Women Psychiatrists. Association of Yugoslav Psychiatrists. Association pour la Fondation France Egypt. Association pour la Fondation Henry EY. Association pour la Formation Française et Européenne en Psychiatrie AFEP, French and European Association for Psychiatric Training. Association pour la Promotion de la Médecine en Milieu Pénitentiaire APMP, Association for the Promotion of Prison Psychiatry. Association pour la Promotion et la Défense de la Psychiatrie à l'Hôpital Général, Association for the Promotion and Preservation of General Hospital Psychiatry. Association pour l'étude, la modification et la thérapie du comportement EMC. Association for the Study, Modification, and Therapy of Behavior. Association Psychanalytique de France APF, French Psychoanalytic Association. Association Québécois de Suicidologie AQS, Quebec Association of Suicidology. Association Québécois pour la réadaptation psychosociale AQRP, Quebec Association for Psychosocial Rehabilitation. Association Tunisienne de Recherche sur la Bipolarité, Tunisian Association for Bipolarity Research. Association Tunisienne de Psychiatres d'Exercice Private PEP, the Tunisian Association of Private Psychiatrists. Association de Psychothérapie de Gruppo APG, Association for Group Psychotherapy. Associazione Gruppo Analitica / Gruppo Analitiker Varine, Group Analytic Association. Associazione Italiana di Analisi e Modificazione del Comportamento e Terapia Comportamentale e Cognitiva AMC, Italian Association of Analysis, Behavior Modification, and Cognitive and Behavioral Therapy. Associazione Italiana di Psicoanalisi AIPSI. Italian Association of Psychoanalysts. Associazione Italiana di Psicologia IP, Italian Psychology Association. Associazione Italiana di Psicologia Transpersonale AIPT, Italian Association of Transpersonal Psychology. Associazione Italiana di Psicosocioanalisi e Psicoterapia Progettual Aerial, Italian Psychosocioanalysis and Project-Oriented Psychotherapy Association. Associazione Italiana di Psicoterapia Psicoanalitica Infantile API. Associazione Italiana Disturbo Ossessivo Compulsivo ADOC, Italian Association for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. Associazione Italiana per la Sand Play Therapy ISPT. Associazione Lesbica e Gay degli Psicologi, Italia ALGP Italia, Italian Association of Gay and Lesbian Psychologists. Associazione Nazionale per l'Educazione Prenatale ANEP. National Association for Prenatal Education. Associazione per lo Sviluppo delle Scienze Neuropsychiatriche dell'Età Evolutiva e dell'Adolescenza, SNEA. Associazione Research sulla Schizophrenia ARS, Association for Research on Schizophrenia. Associazione Veneta per la Ricerca e la Formazione in Psicoterapia di Gruppo e Analisi Istituzionali. Associazione Medica Italiana per lo Studio dell'Ipnosi Amisi, Italian Association for the Study of Medical Hypnosis. Atkinson Faculty of Liberal and Professional Studies, Division of Continuing Education. Atlanta Center for Cognitive Therapy ACCT. Atlanta Group Psychotherapy Society AGPS. Atlantic Health System. Atrium Society. Attention Deficit Disorder Association ADA. Attention Deficit Disorder Resources AD Resources. Attention Deficit Disorders Association Southern Region ADA SR. Attention Deficit Information Network. Audio Care Systems. Audio Digest Foundation. Auditory Perception, Cognition, and Action Meeting of CAM. Austin Riggs Center. Erickson Institute for Education and Research. Austin Group Psychotherapy Society. Austin Society for Psychoanalytic Psychology ASPP. Austin Travis County Mental Health Mental Retardation Center Enlightenment. Australasian Cognitive Science Society. Australasian Critical Incident Stress Association ASISA. Australasian Personal Construct Group APCG. Australasian Society for Biological Psychiatry. Australasian Society for Psychiatric Research ASPR. Australasian Society for the Study of Brain Impairment ASPI. Australasian Society for the Study of Intellectual Disability ASID. Australasian Society for Traumatic Stress Studies ASTS. Australia and New Zealand Association for the Treatment of Sex Abusers ANZATSA. Australia and New Zealand Association of Psychotherapy ANZAP. Australia and New Zealand Association of Psychotherapy. New South Wales Branch. Australia and New Zealand Journal of Family Therapy ANZJFED. Australian and New Zealand College of Mental Health Nurses ANZCMITN. Australian Academy of Science. Australian and New Zealand Association of Psychiatry, Psychology, and Law ANZAPL. Australian and New Zealand College of Mental Health Nurses ANZCMITN, Aotearoa/New Zealand Branch. Australian and New Zealand Psychodrama Association ANZPA. Australian Association for Cognitive and Behaviour Therapy AUCT. Australian Association for Cognitive and Behaviour Therapy AUCT, Queensland Branch. Australian Association for Infant Mental Health AIME. Australian Association of Group Psychotherapists AAGP. Australian Association of Occupational Therapists OT Australia. Australian Association of Social Workers AASW. Australian Association of Social Workers. Victorian Branch. Australian Aviation Psychology Association AAVPA. Australian Centre for Psychoanalysis. Australian Clearinghouse for Youth Studies ACYS. Australian College of Clinical Psychologists. Australian College of Private Consulting Psychologists epub. Australian College of Psychological Medicine AC PsychMed. Australian Counselling Association ACA. Australian Drug Foundation ADF. Australian Guidance and Counselling Association. Australian Infant, Child, Adolescent and Family Mental Health Association ICOFMHA. Australian Institute for Suicide Research and Prevention ISRAP. Australian Institute of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies AIATSIS. Australian Institute of Criminology AIC. Australian Institute of Family Studies. Australian Institute of Socioanalysis ISA. Australian Mental Health Consumer Network. Australian Military Medicine Association AMA. Australian National Art Therapy Association ANADA. Australian National Association for Mental Health ANAMITE. Australian National Telehealth Committee. Australian National University ANU, Centre for Mental Health Research CMHR. Australian Network for Promotion, Prevention and Early Intervention for Mental Health AUSANET. Australian Neuroscience Society. Australian New Zealand Telehealth Committee. Australian Nursing and Midwifery Council ANMC. Australian Nursing Federation ANF. Australian Professional Society on Alcohol and Other Drugs APSAD. Australian Psychoanalytical Society APAS. Australian Psychological Society APS. Australian Psychological Society APS, College of Clinical Neuropsychologists. Australian Psychological Society APS. Victorian Branch. Australian Resource Centre for Healthcare Innovations ARCA. Australian Rotary Health Research Fund RAIRF. Australian Schizophrenia Conference. Australian Society for Behavioural Health and Medicine. Australian Society of Hypnosis ASH. Australian Society of Psychosocial Obstetrics and Gynecology ASPIG. Australian Transcultural Mental Health Network ADMITN. Australian Women's Health Network AWHN. Austrian Society for Cognitive Science ASOCS. Autism Foundation. Autism Queensland. Autism Research Foundation TARF. Autism Research Institute ARI. Autism Society of America. Autism Society of Los Angeles ASLA. Autism Society of Washington. Autism Speaks. Autism/Asperger's Syndrome Coalition for Education Networking and Development ASEND. Autism Europe. Autistic Association of Singapore. Avanta the Virginia Satir Network. Awakening. Aware. Azerbaijan Psychiatric Association AZPA. Azerbaijan Psychologists Association APA. B.F. Skinner Foundation. B4U Act. Baleen Society. Baltic Conference on E-Health. Baltimore Crisis Response BCRI. Baltimore Mental Health System BMHS. Baltimore Psychotherapy Institute BPI. Baltimore Washington Center for Psychoanalysis. Bancroft NeuroHealth. Bangladesh Association for Child and Adolescent Mental Health BACAMITE. Bangladesh Association of Psychiatrists. Bangladesh Psychological Association BPA. Bangladesh Telemedicine Association BTA. Barbados Association of Psychiatrists BAP. Barnard College, Center for Research on Women. Barnard Hospital, Department of Psychiatry. Barhara Center for the Study of Separation and Loss During Childhood. Batterer Intervention Services Coalition of Michigan BISCME. Baycrest Center for Geriatric Care, Kunen-Lunenfeld Applied Research Unit Claru. Baycrest Center for Geriatric Care, Rotman Research Institute. Baylor College of Medicine BCM. Office of Continuing Medical Education. BDB Group. Beck Institute for Cognitive Therapy. Befrienders International. Behavior Genetics Association BGA. Behavioral Institute for Children and Adolescents. Behavioral Medicine Research and Training Foundation. Behavioral Tech. Behavioral Technology Transfer Group BTTG. Belgian College of Neuropsychopharmacology and Biological Psychiatry BCNBP. Belgian Pain Society. Belgisch Federative en Psychologen Federation Belge de Psychologues, Belgian Federation of Psychologists. Belgisch Vereniging voor Psychoanalyse, Belgian Psychoanalytical Society. Belgisch Vereniging voor Psychologie BPS. Belgian Psychological Society, Société Belge de Psychologie. Belgium Medical Informatics Association. Belgrade Psychoanalytical Study Group. Ben Franklin Institute. Bergen County Division of Mental Health. Bergen International Conference on the Treatment of Psychopathy. Bergen Regional Medical Center. Berkshire Association of Behavior Analysis and Therapy Babat. Berkshire Psychoanalytic Institute BPI. Berlikon Research. Berliner Institute for Psychotherapy und Psychoanalyse BIPP, Berlin Institute for Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis. Bermuda Schizophrenia Society. Bernard W. Gimbel Multiple Sclerosis Comprehensive Care Center. Berufsverband der Tanztherapeutinnen Deutschlands BTD, German professional organization for dance therapists. Berufsverband Deutscher Psychologinnen und Psychologen BDP. Berufsverband Österreichischer Psychologinnen und Psychologen BOP. Austrian Professional Association of Psychologists. Berufsverein der Psychologen Liechtensteins. Bisad Syak. Beth Israel Medical Center, Department of Pain Medicine and Palliative Care. Beth Israel Medical Center, Department of Psychiatry. Beulah Rothman Center for Group Work Studies. Bill Butler and Keith Powers. Bill O'Hanlon, Possibility and Solution-Oriented Therapy. Binghamton University, Program in Philosophy, Computers, and Cognitive Science PACS. Binghamton University, School of Education and Human Development SEHD. Biochemical Society. Biofeedback Association of Europe BAE. Biofeedback Foundation of Europe BFE. Biofeedback Society of California. Biofeedback Society of New England. Biofeedback Society of Texas. Biofeedback Training Associates. Biologic Psychiatry Derneği. Turkish Society of Biological Psychiatry. Black Administrators in Child Welfare BACW. Black Infant Mortality Reduction Resource Center BIMRC. Black Psychiatrists of America. Blueberry Brain Institute and Chaos Cooperative. Bombay Psychological Association BPA. Borderline Personality Disorder Resource Center BPDRC. Boston Geriatric Research Education and Clinical Center GRESI. Boston Institute for Psychotherapy. Boston Institute for the Development of Infants and Parents BDIP. Boston Medical Center, Medical Information Systems Unit MISU. Boston Psychoanalytic Society and Institute BPSI. Boston University Bulletin, Center for Psychiatric Rehabilitation. Boston University School of Medicine, Department of Psychiatry. Boston University, Department of Cognitive and Neural Systems. Boston University, Medical Campus. Boston Threshold Group. Bowman Gray School of Medicine of Wake Forest University. Boys Town. National Resource and Training Center NRTC. Brain Injury Association. Brain Injury Association of Canada BIAC, Association Canadienne de l'Assise Cerebro. Brain Injury Association of New Jersey BINJ. Brain Matters Imaging Centers. Brain Train. Brandon Regional Health Authority. Brattleboro Retreat. Brazelton Center. Brazilian Association for the Studies of Impotence ABEI. Brand Adolescent Center. Bridging Eastern and Western Psychiatry Congress. Brief Family Therapy Center BFTC. Brief Strategic and Systemic Therapy European Network BSST. Brief Therapy Network BTN. Brief Therapy Training Centers International, Training and Research in Brief Therapy. Brief Therapy Training, a division of CM Hinks Institute. Brisbane Centre for Psychoanalytic Studies BCPs. Brisbane Neuropsychoanalytic Study Group. Brisbane Psychoanalytic Self-Psychology Group. British Academy Humanities Research Board. Consciousness and Self-Consciousness Research Centre. British and Irish Sandplay Therapy Society BIS. British Arab Psychiatry Association BAPA. British Association for Behavioural and Cognitive Psychotherapies, Yorkshire and Humberside. British Association for Behavioural and Cognitive Psychotherapies BOB. British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy BACP. British Association for Psychopharmacology BAP. British Association for Sexual and Relationship Therapy BASRIGHT. British Association for the Advancement of Science BA. British Association for the Study and Prevention of Child Abuse and Neglect BASPCAN. British Association of Art Therapists BAAT. British Association of Drama Therapists BADTH. British Association of Psychotherapists BAP. British Association of Social Workers BASW. British Columbia Association for Behavior Analysis BCABA. British Columbia Association for Marriage and Family Therapy BCAMFED. British Columbia Association for Play Therapy BCAPT. British Columbia Association of Counselors of Abusive Men. British Columbia Institute Against Family Violence. British Columbia Psychological Association. British Columbia Schizophrenia Society. British Columbia Schizophrenia Society, Victoria Branch. British Columbia's Children's and Women's Health Centre. British Computer Society BCS, British Human Computer Interaction Group HCI. British Computer Society BCS, Health Informatics Committee HEC. British Computer Society BCS, Health Informatics Specialist Group HISG. British Computer Society BCS, London Medical Specialist Group LMSG. British Computer Society BCS, Medical Northern. British Computer Society BCS, Medical Scotland. British Computer Society BCS, Nursing Specialist Group NSG. British Computer Society BCS, Primary Healthcare Specialist Group PHCSG. British Confederation of Psychotherapists BCP. British Council. British Geriatrics Society BGS. British Healthcare Internet Association BHIA. British Human Computer Interaction Group BITSIG. British Indian Psychiatric Association BIPA. British Institute of Learning Disabilities BILD. British Journal of Healthcare Computing and Information Management BSIM. British Medical Association BMA. British Neuropsychiatry Association BNPA. British Neuropsychological Society BNS. British Neuroscience Association BNA. British Pakistani Psychiatric Association BPPA. British Psychoanalytic Council. British Psychoanalytical Society BPAS and Institute of Psychoanalysis. British Psychodrama Association BPA. British Psychological Society BPS. British Psychological Society BPS. Students Member Group. British Society for Adolescent Health and Welfare. British Society for Mental Health and Deafness BSMHD. British Society for Population Studies BSPS. British Society of Clinical and Experimental Hypnosis BSEC. British Society of Gerontology BSG. British Society of Medical and Dental Hypnosis, Scotland SBBSMDH. British Society of Medical and Dental Hypnosis BSMDH. British Sociological Association BSA. British Sociological Association BSA, Medical Sociology Group. Brookdale Centre on Aging. Brooklyn Institute for Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis BIPP. Brown Medical School, Continuing Medical Education. Brown University, Center for Alcohol and Addiction Studies CAAS. Brown University, Department of Psychiatry and Human Behavior. Building Blocks Consumer Networks. Bulgarian Institute of Human Relations. Bulgarian Psychiatric Association BPA. Bulgarian Psychological Society. Bund Niedergelassner Neurologen, Nervenart. Psychiater und Artlicher Psychotherapeuten. Bundesverband der Angehörigen Psychisch Kranker. Bundesverband der Familien Seelisch Erkrankter, Association of Families of the Mentally Ill. Bureau of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, Idaho. Burrell and Company. By Word of Mouth Storytelling Guild. C.G. Jung Educational Center of Houston. C.G. Jung Foundation of Ontario. C.G. Jung Institute of Chicago. C.G. Jung Institute of Colorado. C.G. Jung Institute of Los Angeles. C.G. Jung Institute, Boston. C.G. Jung Society of Alberta in Calgary. C.G. Jung Society of Atlanta. C.G. Jung Society of San Francisco. C.G. Jung Society, Seattle. Cairo University. Department of Psychological Medicine. Calgary Health Region Family Therapy Training Program. Calgary Regional Health Authority CRHA. California Association for Behavior Analysis CALIBA. California Association for Counseling and Development CACD. California Association of Health Facilities. California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists CAMFED. California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists CAMFED. Reading Regional Chapter. California Association of Psychiatric Technicians CAPT. California Association of Public Hospitals and Health Systems CAPH. California Association of School Psychologists CASP. California Board of Psychology. California Coalition for Ethical Mental Health Care CSMIC. California Coalition on Sex Offending COSO. California Council of Community Mental Health Agencies UCMHA. California Department of Developmental Services DDS. California Department of Mental Health. California Healthcare Association. California Institute for Mental Health CIMH. California Institute of Integral Studies CIIS. California Medical Association CMA. California Psychiatric Association CPA. California Psychoanalytic Circle. California Psychological Association. California School of Professional Psychology CSPP, Continuing Education Division. California State University CSU, Chico, Center for Regional and Continuing Education. California State University Monterey Bay CSUM. Institute for Social History. California State University, Northridge CSUN, Center on Disabilities. California Telehealth and Telemedicine Center. Callahan Techniques. Cambridge Center for Behavioral Studies CCBS. Cambridge Health Alliance, Division of Continuing Education in Psychiatry. Cambridge Health Tech Institute CHI. Cambridge Hospital, Center for Quality Assessment and Improvement in Mental Health CAMITE. CAN of Northern California. Canadian Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry CACAP, Académie Canadienne de Psychiatrie de l'Enfant et de l'Adolescent. Canadian Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry CACAP, L'Académie Canadienne de Psychiatrie de l'Enfant et de l'Adolescent. Canadian Academy of Geriatric Psychiatry CAGP. Canadian Academy of Psychiatry and Law CAPL, L'Académie Canadienne de Psychiatrie et droit. Canadian Addiction Counselors Certification Federation CACF. Fédération Canadienne d'Agrément de Conseillers en Toxicomanie. Canadian Agency for Drugs and Technologies in Health CADTH. Canadian Art Therapy Association CATA, L'Association Canadienne d'Art Thérapie. Canadian Association for Child and Play Therapy CACT. Canadian Association for Sand Play Therapy CAST, Association Canadienne pour la Thérapie Parle Je Disable Actes. Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention, l'Association Canadienne pour la Prévention du Suicide, CASP/ACPS. Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention CASP/ACPS, l'Association Canadienne pour la Prévention du Suicide. Canadian Association for the Mentally Ill. Canadian Association of Emergency Physicians CAEP, Association Canadienne de Médecins d'Urgence. Canadian Association of Psychoanalytic Child Therapists CAPT. Canadian Association of Psychosocial Oncology CAPOACOP. Association Canadienne d'Oncologie Psychosociale. Canadian Association of Rubenfeld Synergists. Canadian Association of School Psychologists CASP. Canadian Association of Sexual Assault Centers CASAC. Canadian Association of Social Workers, Association Canadienne de Travailleurs Sociaux. Canadian Association of Speech-Language Pathologists and Audiologists, l'Association Canadienne de Orthophonistes et Audiologists. Canadian Association on Gerontology CAG, Association Canadienne de Gerontologie, AC. Canadian Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder Resource Alliance CADRA. Canadian Centre on Substance Abuse CCSA-CLAD, Centre Canadien de lutte contre l'alcoolisme et les toxicomanies. Canadian Coalition for Seniors Mental Health CCSMH, Coalition Canadienne pour la Santé Mentale des Personnes Âgées, CSMPA. Canadian Collaborative Mental Health Initiative CMI. Canadian College of Neuropsychopharmacology CCNP. Le Collège Canadien de Neuropsychopharmacology. Canadian Congress of Neurological Sciences. Canadian Council of Professional Psychology Programmes CCPPP, Conseil Canadien de Programmes de Psychologie Professionnelle. Canadian Counseling Association CCACC, Association Canadienne de Counseling. Canadian Evaluation Society. Canadian Federation of Mental Health Nurses CFMHN. Canadian Group Psychotherapy Association ACPG/CGPA, Association Canadienne de Psychothérapie de Groupe. Canadian Health Economics Research Association CHERES/ACRES, Association Canadienne pour la Recherche en Économie de la Santé. Canadian Home Care Association, Association Canadienne de Soins et Services à Domicile. Canadian Hyperlexia Association. Canadian Institute for Health Information CIHI. L'Institut Canadien d'Information sur la Santé. Canadian Institute for Psychodrama and Psychotherapy. Canadian Institute of Child Health. Canadian Medical Association CMA. Canadian Mental Health Association, l'Association Canadienne pour la Santé Mentale, CMHA, Metro Toronto Branch. Canadian Mental Health Association, l'Association Canadienne pour la Santé Mentale, CMHA, New Brunswick Division, Division Nouveau-Brunswick. Canadian Mental Health Association, l'Association Canadienne pour la Santé Mentale, Newfoundland and Labrador CMHA NFLD and Lab. Canadian Mental Health Association CMHA, l'Association Canadienne pour la Santé Mentale. Canadian Mental Health Association CMHA, London Middlesex Branch. Canadian Mental Health Association CMHA, Ontario Division. Canadian Nurses Association CNA. Association des Infirmières et Infirmières du Canada. Canadian Organization for the Advancement of Computers in Healthcare Coach. Canadian Play Therapy Institute. Canadian Psychiatric Association CPA, l'Association des Psychiatres du Canada. Canadian Psychiatric Research Foundation CPRF, Fondation Canadienne de la Recherche en Psychiatrie. Canadian Psychoanalytic Society, Société Canadienne de Psychanalyse. Canadian Psychological Association, Société Canadienne de Psychologie. Canadian Public Health Association CPHA. Canadian Register of Health Service Providers in Psychology CRHSPP. Canadian Societies of Clinical Hypnosis CSCH. Canadian Society for Brain, Behavior, and Cognitive Science CSBBCS, Société Canadienne de Sciences du Cerveau, du Comportement et de la Cognition. Canadian Society for International Health CSIH. Canadian Society for Pharmaceutical Sciences Société Canadienne de Sciences Pharmaceutiques. Canadian Society of Addiction Medicine CSAM. Société Médicale Canadienne sur l'Addiction SMCA. Canadian Society of Clinical Hypnosis, Alberta Division. Canadian Society of Telehealth CST, Société Canadienne de Télésanté. Canberra Manic Depressive Support Group. Canyon Ranch Health Resort. Cape Cod Symposium on Addictive Disorders. Cape Support for Mental Health. Capital Psychiatric and Psychological Association. CAPS TICS Solicitors. Captioned films/videos for the deaf. CardGuard. Cardiocom. Caribbean Psychiatric Association CARPA. Caribbean Telemedicine Association CARTMA. Carleton University, Procrastination Research Group. Carnegie Mellon University CMU, Human-Computer Interaction Institute HCII. Carolinas Group Psychotherapy Society CGPS. Carrier Clinic. Carter Center. Casablanca League for Mental Health. Case Management Society of America CMSA. Case Management Society of Australia. Case Western Reserve University, Case School of Engineering. Case Western Reserve University. School of Medicine. Castle Hospital. Cat das Tapas. Catalan National Health Service. Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities, Diocese of Trenton. Catholic Family Services. Catholic Health Association of the United States CHASA. Catskill Family Institute CFI. CBT Canada. CDR Associates. Celier Row Espaco Sociodramatico Celier Row. Center for Action Therapy. Center for Advanced Study in Management. Center for American Architecture and Design. Center for Applied Psychology. Center for Biological and Computational Learning CBCL. Center for Business Innovation TCBI. Center for Business Intelligence CBI. Center for Change. Center for Child and Family Development CCFD. Center for Childhood Injury Prevention. Center for Cognitive Psychotherapie och Utbildning I Göteborg. Center for Cognitive Psychotherapy and Education in Göteborg. Center for Cognitive Therapy. Center for Collaborative Change. Center for Connected Health. Center for Contextual Conceptual Education. Center for Creative Leadership. Center for Democracy and Technology CDT. Center for Education and Drug Abuse Research CEDAR. Center for Ethical Practice. Center for Family Connections CFFC. Center for Family Process. Center for Group Learning CGL. Center for Healthcare Information Management CHIM. Center for HIV, Hepatitis and Addiction Training and Technology CHAT. Center for Holistic Healing. Center for Information Therapy. Center for Inquiry CFI. Center for Integration of Medicine and Innovative Technology CIMET. Center for Integrative Psychotherapy. Center for International Humanitarian Cooperation CIHC. Center for Interpersonal Growth. Center for Young Studies of Detroit. Center for Law and Education. Center for Law and Social Policy CLASP. Center for Learning. Center for Learning Disabilities. Center for Mind-Body Medicine CMBM. Center for Narrative Studies. Center for Parenting Studies. Center for Process Studies. Center for Professional Advancement. Institute for Applied Pharmaceutical Sciences. Center for Psychoneuroimmunology Research. Center for Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis. Center for Rehabilitation Technology. Center for Religion and Psychotherapy of Chicago. Center for Research on Arms Control and Security CRACS. Center for School Mental Health Assistance XMHA. Center for Self-Leadership. Center for Self-Determination. Center for Self-Help Research. Center for Social and Emotional Education CSEE. Center for Social Gerontology. Center for Special Education Technology. Center for Speech and Language Disorders. Center for Spirituality and Psychotherapy CSP. Center for Studies of the Person. Center for Substance Abuse Prevention CSAP. Center for Substance Abuse Research CSER. Center for Sustainable Change CSC. Center for Telemedicine Law CTL. Center for the Advanced Study of International Development CASID. Center for the Advancement of Group Studies. Center for the Advancement of Health CFAH. Center for the Advancement of Research Methods and Analysis CARMA. Center for the Awareness of Pattern. Center for the Neurobiological Investigation of Drug Abuse NIDA. Center for the Prevention of Sexual and Domestic Violence. Center for the Study of Autism CSA. Center for the Study of Group Processes. Center for the Study of Groups and Social Systems CSGSS, Boston Center of the A.K. Rice Institute. Center for the Study of Intimate Systems CSIS. Center for the Study of Issues in Public Mental Health. Center for the Study of Social Policy CSSP. Center for the Study of White American Culture. Center for the Study of Work Teams. Center for the Translational Neuroscience of Alcoholism CTNA. Center for Therapy and Studies of Suicidal Behavior TSZ, Therapiezentrum für Suizidverdacht. Center for Victims of Torture. Center for Health Policy and Ethics, College of Nursing and Health Science. George Mason University. Center on Positive Behavioral Interventions and Support. Center to Advance Palliative Care CAPC. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention CDC. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention CDC, National AIDS Clearinghouse. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services CMS. Central Clinical Hospital No. 5, International Department. Central Council for Education and Training in Social Work CITSW. Central Eastern European Behavioral Medicine Network CEB. Central Institute of Psychiatry CIP. Central Neuropsychiatric Association. Central Sydney Area Mental Health Service CSM. Central Vermont Medical Center, Dartmouth Hitchcock Alliance. Centralink. Centre Arabe de Recherches Psychanalytiques et Psychopathologiques, Arab Center for Research in Psychoanalysis and Psychopathology. Centre de Psychothérapie Stratégique. Centre de Recherche Interdisciplinaire sur la Violence Familiale et la Violence Faite Auxiliary Femmes CRIVIFF. Interdisciplinary Research Center on Family Violence and Violence Against Women. Centre de Recherche Philippe Pinel de Montréal. Centre d'études et de recherches en psychopathologie Serbe. Centre d'études psychiques et psychosomatiques CEPS, Centre for Psychiatric and Psychosomatic Studies. Centre et École Belge de Dossiers Analyse CEBDA, Belgian Center and School of Existential Analysis. Center for Addiction and Mental Health CAMH. Centre de Toxicomanie et de Santé Mentale. Center for Applied Positive Psychology CAP. Center for Continuing Professional Development. Center for Cultural Studies in Health. Center for eHealth. Center for Expressive Therapy. Center for Freudian Analysis and Research CFAR. Center for Grief Education. Center for Healthcare Telematics CHT. Center for Justice and Crime Prevention CJCP. Center for Physiology and Biochemical Research CPBR. Center for Postgraduate Studies and Research CPSNR. Center for Psychotherapeutic Studies. Center for Psychotherapy and Human Rights CPHR. Center for Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse CRISA. Center for Research in Development, Instruction, and Training Credit. Center for Science, Development and Media Studies CSDMS. Center for the Advancement of Electronic Health Records CAER. Center for Trauma Studies/Traumatic Stress Service. Center for Treatment of Sexual Abuse and Childhood Trauma. Center of Excellence for Child Welfare CECWCEPB, Centre d'Excellence pour la Protection et le Bien-être de l'Enfant. Center of Excellence in E-Medicine. Centro Analisi Terapeutica de Grupo CATG. Centro de Especializaco M Socionomia e Formação de Psicodramatista CESP. Centro de Estudos de Psicodrama Infantil do Parana Cesapar. Centro de Estudos Psicodramáticos do Instituto do Homem Sepa. Centro de Logoterapia y Análisis Existencial CELI, Center for Logotherapy and Existential Analysis. Centro de Psicodrama de Brasilia CEPB. Centro de Psicodrama e Sociodrama CEPS. Centro de Psychiatria Genética, Psychiatric Genetics Center. Centro de Terapia Cognitiva Pós-Racionalista CETEPO. Centro de Terapia Stratégica CTS. Strategic Therapy Center. Centro Gestalt de Mexico, Mexican Gestalt Center. Centro Interuniversitario de Recerca sobre Elaboración Cognitiva in Sistemi Naturali e Artificiali Icona, Inter-University Center for Research on Cognitive Processing in Natural and Artificial Systems. Centro Italiano di Gruppo Analisi SIGA. Centro Italiano Ipnosi Clinico Psychs. Centro Latino Americano e do Caribe de Informação MCUM, Nsiasta Saad Birim. Centro Milanese de Terapia della Famiglia, Milan School of Systemic Family Therapy. Centro Nacional de Investigaciones Científicas CNIC, National Center for Scientific Research. Centro Studi de Hipnosi Clinica e Psicoterapia. Bernheimksip. Centro Turinese di Psychoanalyse, Turin Psychoanalytic Center. Centrum för Psychiatriforskning Stockholm, Stockholm Center for Psychiatric Research. Century Anger Management. Cerner Corporation. Certification Commission for Healthcare Information Technology Kit. Česká Alzheimerovská společnost, Czech Alzheimer's Association. Česká Neuropsychopharmacologická společnost CNPS, Czech Neuropsychopharmacological Society. Česká psychiatrická společnost JE Purkyň, Czech Psychiatric Association. Česká psychoanalytická společnost CPS, Czech Psychoanalytical Society. Česká společnost pro psychoanalytickou psychotherapii SPAP, Czech Society for Psychoanalytic Psychotherapy. Česká Moravská psychologická společnost, Czech Moravian Psychological Society. Ch.A.D.D. Vancouver Chapter. Chadwick Center for Children and Families. Chapin Hall Center for Children. Charg Resource Center. Charles Sturt University. Charter Behavioral Health Systems. Chiron, the International Society for the History of Behavioral and Social Sciences. Chesapeake Beach Professional Seminars. Chhahari Group Nepal. Chicago Center for Family Health CCFH. Chicago Center for the Study of Groups and Organizations XCO. Chicago Institute for Psychoanalysis. Chicago Psychoanalytic Society. CHIC Services. CHIC Services CHIC. Child and Youth Care Worker Certification Institute of Texas. Child and Family Policy Center. Child and Youth Care Association of Alberta PsyCat. Child Bereavement Trust. Child Development Media. Child Neurology Society CNS. Child Welfare League of America CWLA. Childhoods 2005. Children and Adults with Attention Deficit Disorders CHAD. Children and Adults with Attention Deficit Disorders, Canada. Montreal Chapter. Children and Family Futures CFF. Children of Aging Parents CAPS. Children of Alcoholics Foundation COAF. Children, Youth, and Women's Health Service. Children's Array of Psychiatric Programs CHARP. Children's Center for Child Protection. Children's Center for Developmental Psychiatry. Children's Center for Telemedicine and New Information Technologies. Children's Defense Fund CDF. Children's Home of Pittsburgh. Children's Hospice International. Children's Hospital and Regional Medical Center. Children's Hospital and Health Center. Children's Hospital. Center for Child Protection CCP. Children's Institute International CII. Children's Psychological Trauma Center CPTC. Children's Rights Council CRC. Children's Rights of America. Children's Therapy Center CTC. Children's Welfare Association of Victoria. Child Trauma Academy. China Association for Mental Health CAMH. Chinese American Medical Society CAMS. Chinese Association for Mental Health CAMH. Chinese Association of Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders. Chinese Association of Cognitive Behavior Therapy CACT. Chinese Association on Smoking and Health CASH. Chinese Canadian Medical Society, Ontario. Chinese Conference on Crisis Intervention and Suicide Prevention. Chinese Psychological Society CPS. Chinese Society of Psychiatry CSP. CHP International. Christchurch School of Medicine, Department of Psychological Medicine. Christian Medical and Dental Society, Psychiatry Section. Cyclodomuticeo cybernetica. Psychodrama e Psychoterapia Cyclo. Cinematherapy.com. Circle of Security. Sisters. City Hospital, Alcohol and Health Research Center. City University, London, Centre for Measurement and Information in Medicine MEM Center. City University of New York CUNY, Medgar Evers College. Kleptomaniacs and Shoplifters Anonymous CASA. Cleveland Clinic, Center for Continuing Education. Cleveland Psychoanalytic Society. Clifford Beers Foundation, European Center for Mental Health Promotion. Clinical Brain Imaging Society. Clinical Hypnosis Society of New Jersey. Clinical Insights. Clinical Research Institute. Clinical Sandor Ferenczi Conference. Clinical Social Work Federation CSWF. Clinical Trials on Alzheimer's Disease CTAD. Clinique de Psychiatrie et de Psychologie Médicale du Chu de Nice. CLNICA de Psychologie et Psychodrama CPP. Closer Look. CME Consultants. CME LLC. CME Outfitters. CMH of Kalamazoo County. Focus Mental Health Training Association. CMHC Systems. CMI Education Institute. Coalition for Community Living. Coalition for Marriage, Family, and Couples Education CMFC. Coalition of Hispanic Health and Human Services Organizations COSHO. Coalition of South Asian and Middle Eastern Organizations CAMEO. Coalition of Voluntary Mental Health Agencies. Coast to Coast Mediation Center. Cocaine Anonymous World Service CAWS. Cochrane Collaboration CC. COGIS. Cognitive Neuroscience Society. Cognitive Science Society. Cognitive Science Society of Ireland. Cognitive Technology Society. Cognitive Workshops. Coimbra University Hospitals HUC. CLNICA Psychiatrica. Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory CSHL. Colectivo Psicologia y Desarrollo Nacional CPDN. Colegio Argentino de Neuropsicopharmacologia CANP. Colegio de Neuropsicopharmacologia de Córdoba CNPC. Colegio de Psicólogos de Chile. Colegio de Psiquiatras de Jalisco. Colegio Mexicano de Neuropsicopharmacologia. Colegio Mexicano de Psicoterapia. Colegio Nacional de Psicólogos CONAPSA. Colegio Oficial de Psicólogos COP, Spanish Psychological Association. Colegio Venezolano de Neuropsicopharmacologia CVNP. Colin A. Ross Institute for Psychological Trauma. Collaborative Communications Summit. Collaborative Family Healthcare Association CFHA. Collaborative Family Solutions. Collaborative Health Informatics Center Chic. College Aquitaine de Psychopathologie de l'Adolescent Kappa, Aquitaine College of Adolescent Psychopathology. Collège d'analyse lècale. Collège Européen de Gestalt Thérapie de Langue Française CEGT. European College of Gestalt Therapy of the French Language. College of Computer Science, Poland. College of Executive Coaching. College of Healthcare Information Management Executives CHIME. College of Psychiatric and Neurologic Pharmacists CPNP. College of Psychiatrists of Ireland, Coléis Psychiatraith na Ariane. College of Psychologists of British Columbia. College of Psychologists of New Brunswick. College of Registered Psychiatric Nurses of Alberta CRNA. College of Registered Psychiatric Nurses of British Columbia CRPNBC. College of Registered Psychiatric Nurses of Manitoba CRPNM. College of St. Scholastica. College on Problems of Drug Dependence CPDD. College Research Unit. College Tunisien de Psychiatrie. Tunisian College of Psychiatry. Collegium International Neuropsychopharmacologicum CINP. Colombian National Committee of Psychology. Colombian Society of Psychiatry. Colorado Alliance for the Mentally Ill UMI. Colorado Association for Infant Mental Health COAIMH. Colorado Association for Marriage and Family Therapy CAMFED. Colorado Behavioral Health Care Council CBHC. Colorado Council on Compulsive Gambling, Inc. CCCG. Colorado Division of Mental Health. Colorado Group Psychotherapy Society. Colorado Mental Health Counselors Association CMITCA. Colorado Psychiatric Society. Colorado Psychological Association. Colorado School of Professional Psychology COSP. Colorado Society of School Psychologists CSSP. Columbia Academy of Psychodynamics CAPSI. Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons, Center for Continuing Education. Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons, Department of Psychiatry. Columbia University Center for Psychoanalytic Training and Research. Columbia University, Program in Narrative Medicine. Columbia University, Teachers College. Columbia University, Seminars. Comité français pour la réhabilitation psychosociale CFRP, French Committee for Psychosocial Rehabilitation. Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities CARF. Committee of Hispanic Psychiatrists. Committee of Psychoanalytic and Psychotherapeutic Publications and Organizations C3PO. Common Bond Institute CBI. Commonweal, Institute for the Study of Health and Illness ISHI. Commonwealth Association for Mental Handicap and Developmental Disabilities CAMHAD, Association du Commonwealth pour les handicaps mentaux et les incapacités liées au développement. Commonwealth Educational Seminars. Commonwealth Institute. London. Commonwealth Medical Association CMA. Communication Institute for Online Scholarship CIOs. Communications and Information Technology Ontario CITO. Communications Consortium Media Centre CCMC. Communicative Disorders Assistant Association of Canada CDAC. Community Addiction Services of Indiana CASI. Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America CADCA. Community Education and Development CEND. Community Health Law Project CHLP. Community Resource Alliance. Compass Solutions for Autism. Compassionate Wellbeing CW. Competence Network on Schizophrenia. Comprehensive Neuroscience CNS. Computational Neuroscience Meeting. Computer Applications in Mental Health CAMH. Computer Assisted Radiology and Surgery CARS. Computer-Based Patient Record Institute CPRI. Comunidade Catarinense de Psicodrama CCP. Concord Medical Sciences. Coney Island Hospital, Department of Psychiatry. Confederación Española de Familiares de Enfermos de Alzheimer y otras demencias CFA. Spanish Confederation of Relatives of Patients with Alzheimer's and Other Dementias. Confederazione di Organizzazioni Italiane per la Ricerca Analitica sui Gruppi coi RAG. Conference and exhibits on race and digital technologies. Conference design. Conference on asynchronous learning networks. Conference on child and adolescent mental health. Conference on gay, lesbian and bisexual issues in psychiatry. Conference on health promotion and primary prevention. Conference on innovations in trauma research methods CITREAM. Conference on priorities. Conference on the psychology of the self. Conference on theoretical and experimental neuropsychology tenet. Conference organizer. Conferenza Italiana Permanente dei Medici Specialisti e Informazione Specialistica in Psychiatria CFP, Permanent Italian Conference of Psychiatric Physicians and Psychiatrists in Training. Congress Català de Salut Mental de la Infancia y l'Adolescencia XMIA. Congress Français de Psychiatrie. French Congress of Psychiatry. Congreso Cubano de Thanatologia y Comportamiento Autodestructivo, Cuban Congress on Thanatology and Self-Destructive Behavior. Congreso Internacional de Psicologia Social de la Liberación, International Congress of the Social Psychology of Liberation. Congreso Mundial de Estados Depresivos. Congreso Panamericano de Psychiatría. Psicologia Infanto-Juvenil y Profesiones Afines. Congress on Human Sexuality. Congress on Noise. Connecticut Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI. Connecticut Association for Addiction Professionals. Connecticut Association for Marriage and Family Therapy CAMFED. Connecticut Association of School Psychologists CASP. Connecticut Community Providers Association. Connecticut Counseling Association CCA. Connecticut Counseling Association for Counselor Education and Supervision CASES. Connecticut Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services DMAS. Connecticut Mental Health Counselors Association CMITCA. Connecticut Milton H. Erickson Society/Institute for Psychotherapy and Hypnosis CONCEIF. Connecticut Psychiatric Society. Connecticut Psychological Association. Connecticut Society for Psychoanalytic Psychology, CSPP. Connecting Communities for Better Health CCBH. Connecting for Health. Constio Profesional de Graduados en Servicio Social Trabajo Social CPGS SOTS, Professional Council of Graduate Social Service and Social Workers. Conselho Federal de Serviço Social CFES, Brazilian Federal Board of Social Work. Consorcio de Componentes de Software para Sistemas de Informação MSOD CCC-SIS. Consortium for Psychoanalytic Research. Consortium of Behavioral Health Nurses and Associates SPITNA. Consortium of Multiple Sclerosis Centers CMSC. Constructivist Psychology Network CPN. Consumer Organization and Networking Technical Assistance Center CONTAC. Contemporary Forums. Content Management Network. Continuing Education. Continuing Medical Education Associates. Contexto, Asociação de Psicodrama do Parana Contexto. Cooper Institute. Cooper Medical School of Rowan University. Department of Psychiatry. Cooper University Hospital, Department of Psychiatry and Psychology. Cooperativa de Estudio e Ricerca Sociale Marcella. Coordinamento Nazionale Centri Diurni in Psychiatria, Psychiatric Daycare Association of ED. Cornell University Weill Medical College. Department of Psychiatry. Corporación Alzheimer Chile. Corporación de Familiares y Amigos de Pacientes Esquizofrénicos Corfapes. Corporate Compliance Resource Center. Corporation for Standards and Outcomes CSNO. Corporation for the Advancement of Psychiatry. CORTXT/Mind Matters Educational Seminars CMMES. Costa Rican Psychiatric and Clinical Psychologist Association. Council for Exceptional Children CEC. Council of Applied Masters Programs in Psychology CAMP. Council of Canadian Child and Youth Care Associations. Council of Chief State School Officers CSO. Council of Europe, Conseil de l'Europe. Council of Graduate Departments of Psychology COGDOP. Council of Parent Attorneys and Advocates COPAT. Council of Scientific Society Presidents CSSP. Council of the Governor's Policy Advisors CGPA. Council of the Great City Schools. Council on Social Work Education CSWE. Counseling and Health Innovations. Counseling Centers of New York State. Counseling Arabia. Counseling in Primary Care. Trust CPCT. Counselors and Psychotherapists Association of New South Wales CAPA. CPC Health. CPRI Host. Cranfield College of Aeronautics. Creative Educational Concepts. Creative Energy Options. Creative Partnerships for Prevention. Creative Therapeutics. Creativity Consortium. Creighton University, Center for Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis. Creighton University, Department of Psychiatry. Criminal Justice Addiction Services. Critical Incident Stress Management Network CISM Network of New Jersey. Critical Psychiatry Network CPN. Croatian Psychology Students Association. Cross-Cultural Training Days in Psychodrama CCTDP. CTI Psychology, the Computers in Teaching Initiative and Higher Education in the UK. Cultural Psychiatry and Mental Health Conference. Cushing Support and Research Foundation CSRF. CUSRID. CWLA. Cybercare. Cyber Medical School. Cyprus Psychologists Association. Association Chypriot de Psychologues. Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Czech Sexological Society. Dalhousie University Medical School, Department of Psychiatry. Dalhousie University, International Resilience Project IRP. Dallas Group Psychotherapy Society DGPS. Dallas Psychoanalytic Society, Institute, and Foundation. Dallas Society for Psychoanalytic Psychology DSPP. Dana Alliance for Brain Initiatives. Danish Institute for Health and Nursing Research DINR. Danish Psychological Society. Dansk Humanetologisk Forening, Danish Society for Human Ethology. Dansk Psykiatrisk Selskab DPS, Danish Psychiatric Society. Dansk Psychoanalytisk Selskab, Danish Psychoanalytic Society. Dansk Psykologforening, Danish Psychological Association. Dansk Selskab for Klinisk Hypnostske, Danish Society of Clinical Hypnosis. Dansk Selskab for Klinisk Telemedicine DSKT, Danish Society for Clinical Telemedicine. Dartmouth Medical School Department of Psychiatry, New Hampshire. Dartmouth Psychiatric Research Center PRC. Don Farm. Don Institute. DBH Neuroscience Seminars. DBT Workshop. Deaconess Billings Clinic, Eastern Montana Telemedicine Network EMTN. Dean Foundation. Dean J. M. Mooney. Deborah Wood and Associates. Debtors Anonymous DA. Decision Sciences Institute DSI. DesJarnet Research Systems. Delaware County Parents Involved Network PIN. Delaware Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health. Delaware Psychological Association. Delaware Valley Association of Black Psychologists DVAB-Psy. Delaware Valley Group Psychotherapy Society DVGPS. Delphi Center. Delphi International Psychoanalytic Symposium. Delphos Ispakos Ecosocial Delphos. Delta Society. Denver Health. Behavioral Health Services. Depression After Delivery. Depression Alliance. Depression Alliance Scotland. Depression Alliance Wales. Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance DBSA. Depression and Related Affective Disorders Association DRADA. Depressive and Manic Depressive Association of the Valley of the Sun. Depressive and Manic Depressive Association of Orange County. Depressive and Manic Depressive Association of Santa Barbara. Depressive and Manic Depressive Association of St. Louis. Depressives Anonymous, UK. Depressives Anonymous, US, Recovery from Depression. Deutsch-Chinesische Akademie für Psychotherapie, German-Chinese Academy for Psychotherapy. Deutsche Akademie für Psychoanalyse DAP, German Academy for Psychoanalysis. Deutsche Alzheimer Gesellschaft, German Alzheimer Society. Deutsche Arbeitsgemeinschaft für Gestalt-Theoretische Psychotherapie DAGP, German Association for Gestalt-Theoretical Psychotherapy. Deutsche Arbeitsgemeinschaft für Psychoncology DAPO. German Association of Psychosocial Oncology. Deutsche Forschungsgemeinschaft, Siemens AG. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Analytische Psychologie DGAP, German Society for Analytic Psychology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Artliche Hypnose und Autogenes Training DGAH, German Society for Medical Hypnosis and Autogenic Training. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Biologische Psychiatry DGBP, German Society for Biological Psychiatry. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Hypnose DGH, German Hypnosis Society. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Individual Psychology DGIP, German Society for Individual Psychology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Individual Psychology Landesverband Bayern, German Society for Individual Psychology, Bayern Region. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Intensive Psychodynamische Therapie nach Davenloh, German Society for Davenloh's Intensive Short-Term Dynamic Psychotherapy. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Medizinische Informatik, Biometrie und Epidemiologie GMDS, German Society for Medical Informatics. Biometry and Epidemiology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Medizinische Psychologie DGMP, German Society for Medical Psychology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Online-Forschung DGOFAV, German Society for Online Research. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychiatry, Psychotherapy, und Nervenheilkunde DGPPN, German Society for Psychiatry, Psychotherapy and Nervous Diseases. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychoanalyse, Psychotherapy, Psychosomatic und Tiefenpsychologie DGPT, German Society for Psychoanalysis, Psychotherapy, Psychosomatics and Depth Psychology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychologie DGPs, German Society for Psychology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychologische Schmerztherapie und Forschung DGPSF. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychorganische Analyse DBOA, German Society for Psychoorganic Analysis. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychosomatische Frauenheilkunde und Geburtshilfe DGPFG. German Society for Psychosomatic Obstetrics and Gynecology. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Psychosomatische Medizin DGPM, German Association for Psychosomatic Medicine. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Sandspieltherapie DGST, German Society for Sandplay Therapy. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Seelische Gesundheit bei Menschen mit geistiger Behinderung DGSGB, German Society for Mental Health in People with Mental Retardation. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Suizidprävention DGS, German Society for Suicide Prevention. Deutsche Gesellschaft für Verkehrspsychologie DGVP, German Society for Transport Psychology. Deutsche Psychoanalytische Gesellschaft DPG, German Psychoanalytic Society. Deutsche Psychoanalytische Vereinigung DPV, German Psychoanalytic Association. Deutsche Transpersonale Gesellschaft DTG, German Transpersonal Association. Deutsche Arbeitskreis für Gruppenpsychotherapie und Gruppendynamik DAG. German Work Circle for Group Psychotherapy and Group Dynamics. Deutsches Kollegium für Psychosomatische Medizin DKPM, German College of Psychosomatic Medicine. Development Medicine. Developmental Disabilities Resources DDR. Diamond Headache Clinic Research and Educational Foundation. Didi Hirsch Mental Health Services. Digital Image FX. Disability Management Employer Coalition DMEC. Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund DRIDF. Disaster Psychiatry Outreach DPO. Disease Management Congress. District of Columbia Department of Mental Health. District of Columbia Psychological Association DCPA. Diversity in Health. Division of Clinical Neuropsychology. Do poke around in the general area of the desired organization. Doc links. Doctor to doctor. Dodge City Community College. Dakota Ilul University. Domestic Abuse Counseling Center DACC. Dominion Diagnostics. Donalen Discoverine for Psychiatry und Ehrgrenzgebiet DPA, Danubian Psychiatric Association. Donetsk State Medical University. Donetsk State Medical University, Department of Informatics and Telemedicine. Down Syndrome Research Foundation and Resource Center. Dr. Patlov and Associates. Drug Abuse Information Rehabilitation and Research Center DARC. Drug and Alcohol Multicultural Education Center DAMEC. Drug and Alcohol Nurses of Australasia. Drug Information Association DIA. Drug Policy Alliance DPA. Drug Strategies. Drug Scope. Drury College, Philosophy and Religion Department. Društvo Grupne Analitičara Beograd DGAB, Group Analytic Society Belgrade. Društvo Psihologov Slovenije, Slovenian Psychology Association. Društvo Studenta Psihologije. Društvo Ziadikjo I Adolescentno Psychiatryhu I Srodni Striksrbai Deeps. Association for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Allied Professions of Serbia. Dual Diagnosis Recovery Network DDRN. Dublin City University. Duke Family Support Program. Duke University Medical Center, Office of Continuing Medical Education DOCME. Duke University, Dance Program. Dulwich Center. Dutch Foundation for Psychiatry and Religion. Dutchess County Department of Mental Hygiene. Early Childhood Intervention Australia. Early Psychosis Prevention and Intervention Center EPIC. East Carolina University School of Medicine, Telemedicine Center. East Side Institute for Short-Term Psychotherapy, Center for Developmental Learning. East Tennessee State University James H. Quillen College of Medicine. Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Science. East/West Conference. Eastern and Southern African Counseling Association ESACA. Eastern Group Psychotherapy Society EGPS. Eastern Mediterranean Association for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Allied Professions EMACAPUP. Eastern Missouri Psychiatric Society EMPS. Eastern Montana Telemedicine Network EMTN. Eastern Paralyzed Veterans Association EPVA. Eastern Psychiatric Research Association. Eastern Psychological Association EPA. Eastern State Hospital. Eastern Virginia Erickson Institute. Eating Disorder Education Organization EDEO. Eating Disorders Association. Eating Disorders Awareness and Prevention EDAP. Eating Disorders Coalition for Research, Policy, and Action EDC. Eating Disorders Research Society EDRS. Eco Management Group. Eco Forum for Peace. École de la Cause Freudienne ECF. School of the Freudian Cause. École Nationale Supérieure de Télécommunications. École Normale Supérieure d'Éducation. Economic and Social Research Council ESRC. ECPAT USA. ECRI. Education Commission of the States ECS. Education for Physicians on End-of-Life Care EPEC. Education Writers Association AVA. Educational Testing Service. EEG Info. EEG Institute. EEG Spectrum International. Edge Bilimsel Arastermatoplia Lago EBAT. Edge University Scientific Research Team. Egyptian Alzheimer Group. Egyptian Association for Mental Health EAMH. Egyptian Association for Psychological Studies EAPS. Egyptian Psychiatric Association EPA. Egyptian Psychologists Association EPA. Egyptian Society of Adolescent Studies. eHealth and Telemedicine. eHealth Initiative. eHealth Institute. eHealthcare Connections. eHealthcare Institute. Elder Care Locator. Electroencephalography and Clinical Neuroscience Society ECNS. Electronic Privacy Information Center EPIC. Elsevier Science. eMarket World. EMDR Institute. EMDR International Association EMDRIA. Emirates Psychological Association EPA. Emory University School of Medicine. Continuing Medical Education. Emotions Anonymous. Employee Assistance European Forum EAEF. Employee Assistance Professional Association of Australia EPAT. Employee Assistance Program Association EAPA. Empowerment Training Center etc. Enabling Support Foundation ESF. E-Network for Advanced Training in Psychotherapy ENATP. Enheden for Suicidforskning och Prevention, Center for Suicide Research and Prevention. Enneagram Institute. Enneagram Worldwide. ENOSH. Epilepsy Zentrum Bethel. Epilepsy Foundation of America. Equipo Argentino de Trabajo e Investigación Psicosocial E-Type, Team for Therapy and Psychosocial Research. Eradigenes. Erasmus Hospital, Department of Dermatology. Erasmus MC. Erasmus University, Department of Medical Informatics. Ergonomics Society. Ergonomics Society of Australia. Computer-Human Interaction Special Interest Group. Ericsson Mediation Institute. Esalen Institute. Escola de Biosantes do Rio de Janeiro. Escola Paulista de Psicodrama EP. Escuela Española de Psicoterapia, Spanish School of Psychotherapy. Escuela Freudiana de Buenos Aires. Escuela Iberoamericana de Psicología Jure and Iacure, Dica y Forense Escuela Psi, Spanish American School of Legal and Forensic Psychology. Espace Analytique Franco-Tunisian EAFT. Estonian Psychiatric Association. Estonian Psychology Students Association. Estonian Society of Pharmacology. Ethiopian Psychologists Association EPA. Ethnic Health Initiative EHI. Eureka Science. Europa Organization. Europäisches Forum für Migrationsstudien EFMS. European Forum for Migration Studies. European Academy of Childhood Disability EACD. European Academy of Occupational Health Psychology EAOHP. European Association for Behavioral and Cognitive Therapies EBT. European Association for Body Psychotherapy EABP. European Association for Clinical Pharmacology and Therapeutics ECT. European Association for Communication in Healthcare EACH. European Association for Consultation Liaison Psychiatry and Psychosomatics ECLP. European Association for Cybertherapy and Rehabilitation EACR. European Association for Decision Making EADM. European Association for Forensic Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Psychology and Other Involved Professionals FCAP. European Association for Gestalt Therapy EAGT. European Association for Institutional Research EAIR. European Association for Integrative Psychotherapy EAIP. European Association for Logotherapy and Existential Analysis ELIA. European Association for Mental Health and Intellectual Disability EMID. European Association for Psychotherapy EAP. European Association for Research on Adolescence EARA. European Association for the History of Psychiatry. European Association for the Treatment of Addiction EDA. European Association for Transactional Analysis EDA. European Association for Women and Health Research EAWITER. European Association of Addiction Therapy EAAT. European Association of Experimental Psychology. European Association of Experimental Social Psychology EASP. European Association of Libraries and Information Services on Alcohol and Other Drugs ELISAD. European Association of Personality Psychology EAPP. European Association of Psychological Assessment EAPA. European Association of Psychology and Law EAPL. European Association of Schools of Social Work ESW. European Association of Training Centers for Socio-Educational Care Work FISET, Association Européenne de Centres de Formation au Travail Socio-Educatif. European Association of Transcultural Group Analysis ETGA, Association Européenne pour l'analyse transculturelle de groupe ETG. European Association of University Teachers of Psychoanalysis UTP. European Association of Work and Organizational Psychology EWOP. European Behavioral Pharmacology Society EBPS. European Brain and Behavior Society EBS. European College of Neuropsychopharmacology ECNP. European Commission. Commission Européenne. European Committee on Treatment and Research in Multiple Sclerosis ECTRIMS. European Conference of Psychosomatic Research ECPR. European Conference on Schizophrenia Research ECSR. European Congress of Psychologists. European Consortium of Arts Therapies Education ECARTE. European Coordinating Committee for Artificial Intelligence ECI. European Eating Disorder Council ECED. European Evaluation of Coercion in Psychiatry and Harmonization of Best Clinical Practice UNAMIA. European Family Therapy Association EFTA. European Federation for Medical Informatics EFMI. European Federation for Psychoanalytic Psychotherapy in the Public Sector EFPP. European Federation for Psychosynthesis Psychotherapy EFPP. European Federation of Associations of Families of People with Mental Illness EUFAMI. European Federation of National Organizations Working with the Homeless FIANSA. Fédération Européenne des Associations Nationales Travaillant avec les Sans-Abri. European Federation of Neurological Societies EFNS. European Federation of Neuropsychiatry EFNP. European Federation of Professional Psychologists Associations IFPA, Fédération Européenne de Associations de Psychologues. European Federation of Psychiatric Trainees EFPT. European Federation of Psychologists Associations EFPA. European Federation of Sexology EFS. European Federation of Sport Psychology FEPSAC, Fédération Européenne de Psychologie de Sports et d'Activités Corporelles. European Federation, Psychoanalytic Self-Psychology EFPS, Europeisk Federation. Psychoanalytisk Selbstpsychology. European Group Analytic Training Institutions Network Agaden. European Headache Federation EHF. European Health Forum Gastine EHFG. European Health Psychology Society EHPS. European Health Telematics Association ETL. European Health Telematics Observatory. European Hospital and Healthcare Federation HOPE. European Institute of Mental Health Law. European Mathematical Psychology Group EMPG. European Network for Mental Health Service Evaluation and MESH. European Network on Drugs and Infections Prevention in Prison and DIP. European Neural Network Society ENS. European Neurological Society ENS. European Opiate Addiction Treatment Association Europad. European Parkinson's Disease Association EPDA. European Personal Construct Association EPCA. European Pharmacists for Psychiatry and Neurology EPPN. European Psychiatric Association EPA, L Association Européenne de Psychiatry. European Psychoanalytical Federation EPF. Fédération Européenne de Psychanalyse FEP. European Psychologists of Religion. European Science Foundation ESF. European Society for Biomedical Research on Alcoholism ESBRA. European Society for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry ESCAP. European Society for Cognitive Psychology. European Society for Communicative Psychotherapy ESCP. European Society for Developmental Psychology ESDP. European Society for Engineering in Medicine ESEM. European Society for Medical Decision Making ESMD. European Society for Mental Health and Deafness ESMD. European Society for Philosophy and Psychology ESPP. European Society for Psychosocial Oncology ESPO. European Society for Sexual and Impotence Research ESSER. European Society for Social Drug Research. European Society for the Cognitive Sciences of Music ESCOM. European Society for the Promotion of Picture Archiving and Communication Systems in Medicine Europax. European Society for the Study of Cognitive Systems ESCS. European Society for the Study of Personality Disorder ESPT. European Society for Traumatic Stress Studies ESTS. European Society of Dermatology and Psychiatry ESDP. European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology ESHRE. European Society of Hypnosis. European Socio-Biological Society S. European Sociological Association ESA. European Summer School of Nursing Informatics. European Symposium on Suicide and Suicide Behavior ASIB. European Transpersonal Psychology Association ETPA. European Union EU. European Union of Associations of Families of Mentally Ill People EUFAMI. European Union of Supported Employment EUSE. European Violence in Psychiatry Research Group E6PRG. European American Congress of Neurology. Evanston Family Therapy Center. Evankeel Manic Depressive Support Association. Evergreen Consultants in Human Behavior. Evolution of Psychotherapy. Evolution of Religion Conference. Evolutive Psychiatric Association. Executive links. Experimental Psychology Society. Expert Review of Bipolar Disorders ERBD. Expertise in Context. Expressive Media. Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing International Association EMDRIA. F. FNZ Assessoria e Desenvolvimento M Educação e Saúde FNZ. Facet Theory Association FTA. Fachverband Drogen und Rauchmittel EV. FDR. Fachverband Zucht EV. Faculdade de Ciencias Humanas. Facultad Latino-Americana de Ciencias Sociales Flaxo. False Memory Syndrome Foundation. Families Anonymous. Families Empowered and Supporting Treatment of Eating Disorders Feast. Family and Addiction Conferences and Educational Seminars Faces. Family Care. Family Consultation Service. Family Enhancement and Play Therapy Center. Family Institute of Cambridge FIC. Family Institute of Maine. Family Institute of New Jersey. Family Institute of Westchester FIW. Family Services Canada, Services à la Famille, Canada. Family Services of King County. Family Support America. Family Support Center. Family Therapy Center of Maryland. Family Therapy Institute of St. Louis. Family Therapy Network. Family Therapy Practice Academy. Family Therapy Training Boston. Family Violence and Sexual Assault Institute VSA. Family Violence Prevention Fund FVPF. National Health Resource Center on Domestic Violence. Family Wellness Associates. FIFS. Federação Brasileira de Psicanálise FEBRAPSE, Brazilian Federation of Psychoanalysis. Federação Brasileira de Psicodrama FEBRAP, Brazilian Federation of Psychodrama. Federação Latino-Americana de Análise Bioenergética FLOB, Latin American Federation of Bioenergetic Analysis. Federação Psicanalítica de América Latina FEPAL. Federación de Psicólogos de la República Argentina FEPRA, Psychologists Federation of the Republic of Argentina. Federación de Psicólogos de Venezuela, Venezuela Federation of Psychologists. Federación Española de Asociaciones de Rehabilitación Psicosocial FERP. Federación Española de Asociaciones de Psicoterapeutas FEAP, Spanish Federation of Psychotherapists Associations. Federación Española de Sociedades de Sexologia FES. Federación Latinoamericana de Asociaciones de Psiquiatría Biológica FLAP. Federación Latinoamericana de Psicoterapia FLP. Latin American Psychotherapy Federation. Federación Latinoamericana de Psicoterapia Analítica de Grupo FLAPAG. Federación Latinoamericana de Sociedades de Sexologia y Educación Sexual FLASES, Federación Latinoamericana de Sociedades de Sexologia y Educación Sexual. Federación Mexicana de Alzheimer. Federación Mexicana Pro Salud Mental. Federal Legislative Institute. Federal Telemedicine Gateway. Federatie van Belgische Lescringen. Fédération d'aide à la santé mentale croix-marine. Fédération de familles et amis de la personne atteinte de maladie mentale FAPAM. Fédération for Children with Special Needs. Fédération Française de Psychiatry FFP, French Federation of Psychiatry. Fédération Française de Psychologues et de Psychologie FFPP. French Federation of Psychologists and Psychology. Fédération Nationale d'étudiants en Psychologie. Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology FASEB. Federation of Arab Psychiatrists. Federation of Asian-Oceanian Neuroscience Societies FAONS. Federation of Associations in Brain and Behavioral Sciences FABS. Federation of Australian Scientific and Technological Societies FASTS. Federation of European Neuroscience Societies FENS. Federation of European Psychodrama Training Organizations FEPTA. Federation of European Psychophysiology Societies FEPS. Federation of Families for Children's Mental Health FFCMH. Federation of Korean Gerontological Societies. Federation of Medical Women of Canada. Federation of State Medical Boards of the United States FSMB. Federation of Vietnamese Women's Associations in Australia. Federazione dell'Associazione Alzheimer d'Italia, Federation of Italian Alzheimer's Associations. Feingold Association. Fernuniversität in Hagen, Kurt Lewin Institute for Psychologie KLI. Festival of International Congresses on Caregiving, Disability, Aging and Technology FICDAT. Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Consultation. Education and Training Services Facets. Fibromyalgia Alliance of America. Fielding Institute. Film TX. Finnish Association for Mental Health. Finnish Group Analytic Society. Finnish Institute of Occupational Health FIOH. Finnish Nurses Association. Finnish Union of Professional Social Workers. FITNI. Flemish Association of Psychiatry and Neurology. Florida Alliance for the Mentally Ill FAMI. Florida Association for Behavior Analysis FABA. Florida Association for Marriage and Family Therapy FAMFED. Florida Association of School Psychologists FASP. Florida Coalition for Optimal Mental Health and Aging. Florida Counseling Association. Florida Group Psychotherapy Society. Florida Hospital Association. Florida Hospital Center for Psychiatry. Florida Medical Association FMA. Florida Mental Health Counselors Association FMITCA. Florida Mental Health Services. Florida Psychiatric Society FPS. Florida Psychological Association. Florida Society of Addiction Medicine FSAM. Florida State University. Office of International Programs. Focal Institute for Scottish Health Informatics Fishy. Focus Mental Health Training Associates. Federation der Schweizer Psychologinnen und Psychologen FSP, Federation of Swiss Psychologists. Federatio Medicorum Psychiatricorum et Psychotherapeuticorum FMPP, Federation of Psychiatric/Psychotherapeutic Physicians. Fordham University. Forensic and Clinical Psychology Associates. Forensic Mental Health Conference. Forensic Research Development Unit FRDU. Forum for Independent Psychotherapists FIP. Forum for Psychotherapy Cybernetics. Forum for Self-Psychology FSP, Forum for Self-Psychology. Forum for the Psychoanalytic Study of Film. Forum International de l'Innovation Sociale FIIS. International Forum for Social Innovation. Foster Family-Based Treatment Association. Fostering Partnerships. Foundation for Advanced Education in the Sciences Phase. Foundation for Biomedical Research. Foundation for Depression and Manic Depression. Foundation for Ethics and Meaning. Foundation for Hospice and Home Care. Foundation for Human Enrichment FHE. Foundation for Human Potential. Foundation for Psychocultural Research FPR. Foundation for Science and Disability. Foundation for the National Institutes of Health FNIH. Fountain House. Four Corners Association for Behavior Analysis for CABA. Four Winds Saratoga. Four Winds Westchester. France Alzheimer et maladies apparentes, French Alzheimer's and related disorders. Frankfurter Arbeitskreis für Psychoanalytische Pädagogik FAPP. Frankfurter Psychoanalytisches Institut FPI, Frankfurt Psychoanalytic Institute. Fraunhofer Institute for Computer Graphics. Free Associations Press. Freedom from Fear. Freie Universität Berlin. Free University of Berlin. French Association of Hypnosis. French Foundation for Alzheimer Research. French Medical Informatics Association. Freud Museum. Friedrich Alexander University of Erlangen-Nuremberg, Department of Psychiatry. Friends of the National Library of Medicine. From Answers to Action. From the New Socialist Person to Global Mental Health. Frontiers of Psychosomatic Medicine. Fundación Alzheimer de Venezuela, Alzheimer Foundation of Venezuela. Fundación Alzheimer Ecuador, Ecuador Alzheimer Foundation. Fundación Alzheimer España, Spanish Alzheimer Foundation. Fundación Antidemencia Al-Andalus FADA. Fundación Argentina de Clínica Neuropsiquiátrica FACN, Argentine Foundation of Clinical Neuropsychiatry. Fundación Argentina de Logoterapia Viktor E. Frankl, Viktor E. Frankl Argentine Foundation for Logotherapy. Fundación Bipolares de Argentina FUBIPA. Fundación C.G. Jung de Psicologia Analítica, C.G. Jung Foundation for Analytical Psychology. Argentina. Fundación de Informática Médica FIM, Medical Informatics Foundation. Fundación de Investigación, Tecnología y Comunicación Finteco, Foundation for Interdisciplinary Research on Communication. Fundación del Hospital de Clínicas. Fundación Española de Psiquiatría y Salud Mental FEPSM, Spanish Foundation for Psychiatry and Mental Health. Fundación Internacional OBUL and FIOB. Fundación Lucha contra la Depresión Fundadepra. Fundación para el Avance de la Psicología Clínica Conductual Funvica. Fundación para el Desarrollo Humano de HUM. Future Health. G7 Information Society, Global Healthcare Applications Project. Gallaudet University Regional Center at Olón College. Gamblers Anonymous GA. Gartner. Gateway Center. Gawler Foundation. Gay and Lesbian Medical Association GLMA. Geisel School of Medicine, Dartmouth College. Department of Psychiatry. Geisinger Medical Center. Gendis. General Services Administration. Genetic Alliance. Genetics Society. Geneva Center for Autism. Geneva Initiative on Psychiatry GIP. George Hull Center for Children and Families. George Mason University, Department of Psychology. George Mason University, Office of Continuing Professional Education OCPE. George Washington University School of Medicine, Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences. Georgetown Family Center. Georgetown University, Center for Child and Human Development GUCHT. Georgia Association for Play Therapy GAPT. Georgia Association of Community Service Boards. Georgia Division of Mental Health, Developmental Disabilities and Addictive Diseases. Georgia Political Science Association. Georgia Psychiatric Physicians Association GPPA. Georgia Psychological Association. Georgia Southern University. Division of Continuing Education and Public Services. Georgian Psychological Association. German Brain Endocrine Immune Network GEBIN. German Society of Hypnosis GSH. Gerontological Society of America GSA. Gerstein Center. Gesellschaft für Angstforschung GAF, Society for Anxiety Research. Gesellschaft für Biodynamisk Psychologie / Körperpsychotherapie GBP, Society of Biodynamic Psychology and Body Psychotherapy. Gesellschaft für Gestalttheorie und ihre Anwendungen GTA, Society for Gestalt Theory and its Applications. Gesellschaft für Informatik, Fachbereich 1, Künstliche Intelligenz. Gesellschaft für Intensiv Dynamische Psychotherapie der Schweiz GIK. Gesellschaft für Klinische Hypnose Schweiz GHIPS, Société de Hypnose Clinique Suisse, SHIPS. Gesellschaft für Neuropsychology. Gesellschaft für Psychotraumatology. Gesellschaft für seelische Gesundheit in der frühen Kindheit Gameit. Society for Early Childhood Mental Health. Gestalt Associates Training Los Angeles Gatla. Gestalt Australia New Zealand GANS. Gestalt Center of Sedona and Flagstaff. Gestalt Education Network International Jenny. Gestalt Institute of Cleveland GIC. Gestalt Institute of Phoenix. Get Connected Knowledge Forum. Ghana Psychiatric Association. Ghana Telemedicine/Telehealth Project. Glendon Association. Global Academy for Medical Education. Global Addiction. Global Business Research. Global College of Neuroprotection and Neuroregeneration GCNN. Global Consortium for the Advancement of Promotion and Prevention in Mental Health GAP. Global Egg Donation Resource. Global Technology Community GTC. Gold Coast Institute of Mental Health. Goodtherapy.org. Gordon Research Conferences GRC. Gorski Synapse Corporation. Gottman Institute. Government Horizons. Grant Training Center. Graphics Press. GRASP. Great Lakes Training Associates. Great Plains Students Psychology Convention. Greater Philadelphia Society of Clinical Hypnosis GPSCH. Greater Pittsburgh Psychological Association GPPA. Greek Association for Cognitive Behavioral Psychotherapies GOCP. Greek Association of Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders GADARD. Green Cross Projects GCP. Greenville Family Symposium. GREX. Grounded Theory Institute. Group Analysis North GAN. Group for Applied Psychology GAP. Group for the Advancement of Psychiatry GAP. Group Health Cooperative of Puget Sound, Mental Health Department. Group Psychotherapy Association of Los Angeles GBELA. Group Relations Netherlands. Group Therapy Symposium in San Francisco. Group Analytic Society, London. Group de Psychanalyse d'Istanbul, Istanbul Psychoanalytic Group. Groupe d'études sur l'intersubjectivité GEI, Intersubjectivity Study Group. Groupement d'études et de prévention du suicide GEPS. Growth Central. Grub Institute of Behavioral Studies. Grup d'Analisi Barcelona. Grupo de la Esperanza. Grupo Iberoamericano de Psicogerontology GIP. Latin American Group for Psychogerontology. Guidelines International Network GIN. Guthrie Healthcare System, Family Practice Residency Program. GWC. Hackensack University Medical Center. Haitian Society of Psychiatry. Hakamai Institute. Hamilton Center. Hansel Publishing. Hannah Neal Center for Children. Hanover College, Psychology Department. Hard Times Cafe. Harm Reduction International HRN. Harmony. HARP, Health for Asylum Seekers and Refugee Portal. Harriet E. Hollander PhD and Associates. Harry Benjamin International Gender Dysphoria Association HBIGDA. Heart Center. Hartford Hospital, Institute of Living. Harvard Law School, Berkman Center for Internet and Society. Harvard Medical School, Department of Continuing Education. Harvard Medical School, Institute of Cybermedicine IOC. Harvard School of Public Health. Center for Continuing Professional Education. Harvard University. Hawaii AIDS Education and Training Center. Hawaii Conference Associates. Hawaii March of Dimes. Hawaii Mental Health. Hawaii Psychological Association HPA. Hawaii State Alliance for the Mentally Ill AMI. Hawaii State Department of Health, Adult Mental Health Division AMHD. Hazelden Foundation. Headache Consortium of New England. HEAL, Hearing Across the Lifespan. Healing Rage. Health 2.0. Health Action Network. Health and Behavior Alliance. Health Association of British Columbia. Healthcare Compliance Association HCCA. Healthcare Conference Administrators HCCA. Healthcare Financing Administration HCFA. Philadelphia Regional Office. Healthcare Financing Administration HFCA. Healthcare Meets Medical Informatics and Innovation. Health Ed. Health Emergency Care through Telematics Operational Resources Hector. Health Forum. Health Informatics Europe High. Health Informatics New Zealand. Health Informatics Society of Australia HISA. Health Information and Management Systems Society HIMSS. Health Information Management Association of Australia HIMA. Health Information Technologies. Health Insurance Association of America. Health Internet Ethics High Ethics. Health Level 7 International HL7. Health on the Internet HOIP. Health Resource Center. Health Technology Assessment International HTAI. Healthcare Advisory Council. Healthcare Conferences UK. Healthcare Events. Healthcare Financial Management Association HFM. Healthcare Informatics Magazine. Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society HIMSS. Healthcare Intelligence Network HIN. Healthcare Open Systems and Trials Host. Healthcare Strategy Institute SHE. Healthit.gov. Healthmark Clinic, Hollander Institute for Human Development and Family Growth. HealthNet TPO. Healthways. Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition. Healthy Teen Network HTN. Heart and Brain. Heartland Promotions. Hebrew Home for the Aged at Riverdale. Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Sigmund Freud Center for Study and Research in Psychoanalysis. Helen Tuggy. Hellenic Psychoanalytic Society HPS. Hellenic Psychological Society. Hellenic American Psychiatric Association HAPA. Heritage Center. Heritage Professional Education. Harewill Creations. Hetrick Martin Institute. Higher Education and Adult Training for People with Handicaps Resource Center. Himpunan Psychology Indonesia, HIMPSA, Indonesian Psychologists Association. Himpunan Psychology Indonesia HIMPSA, Indonesian Psychological Association. Hinksdale Crest Center. Hinksdale Crest Institute. HIT Conferences. Hochschule für Musik und Theater Hanover. Institute for Musikphysiologie und Musikermedizin. Hoffman Institute. Hofstra University, Marriage and Family Therapy Graduate Programs. Hollyhock. Holy Name Hospital, Department of Medical Education. Home Care Technology Association of America DAT. Homesh. Honduran Society of Psychiatry. Hongfook Mental Health Association. Hong Kong Academy of Medicine. Hong Kong Alzheimer's Disease Association. Hong Kong Baptist, School of Public Health. Hong Kong College of Emergency Medicine. Hong Kong College of Psychiatrists. Hong Kong Geriatrics Society. Hong Kong Psychological Society HKPS. Hong Kong Society of Neurosciences. Hope. Hope Foundation. Hôpital Louis H. Lafontaine. Hôpitaux Universitaires de Genève Hug Belliday, Département de Psychiatrie. Hospice Foundation of America HFA. Hospital San Roque de Dolores, Servicio de Psiquiatría. Hospital Santa Maria, Psychiatric Clinic. Hospital Universitari Germans Trias I Pugil. Unitat de Psiquiatria, Department of Psychiatry. Houston Galveston Institute. Houston Group Psychotherapy Society HGPS. Houston Galveston Psychoanalytic Institute HGPI. Hrvatsko društvo za Alzheimerovu bolest, Croatian Society for Alzheimer's Disease. Hrvatsko društvo za psihosomatska istraživanja HDPI, Croatian Society for Psychosomatic Research CSPR. Hrvatsko društvo za telemedicinu, Croatian Society for Telemedicine. Hrvatsko Psychiatričko društvo, Croatian Psychiatric Association. Hrvatsko psihodramsko društvo, Croatian Psychodrama Association. Hrvatsko psihološko društvo HPD, Croatian Psychological Association. Hub Concepts in Medical Education. Hudson Valley Psychodrama Institute. Human Behavior and Evolution Society HBES. Human Brain Project. Human Factors and Ergonomics Society HFES. Human Factors and Ergonomics Society HFES, Western New York Chapter. Human Service Information Technology Applications HUSITA. Human Systems Dynamics Institute. Humanova. Nordiska Psykosynteskolan. Humboldt Universitat. Hume Society. Hungarian Association of Hypnosis HA. Hungarian College of Neuropsychopharmacology. Hungarian Society of Neurology and Psychiatry. Hunter College of the City University of New York, Department of Psychology. Huntington's Disease Society of America HDSA. I3CME. IBM, Center for Advanced Studies CA. ICE. Icelandic Association of Family Therapists. Icelandic Psychiatric Association. ICMS TI Ltd. Idaho Alliance for the Mentally Ill UMI. Idaho Association of Marriage and Family Counselors IDAMFC. Idaho Counseling Association ICA. Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. Idaho Mental Health Counselors Association IMITCA. Idaho Psychological Association IPA. Idaho School Counselors Association ISCA. Identity Solutions. IFSI/FIIS. Illinois Association for Infant Mental Health ILAMITE. Illinois Counseling Association ICA. Illinois Group Psychotherapy Society IGPS. Illinois Mental Health Counselors Association IMITCA. Illinois Office of Mental Health. Illinois Psychological Association IPA. IM Sichanov Institute of Evolutionary Physiology and Biochemistry. Imago Relationships International. IMED Clinical Networks. IMDEX. In the Family ITF, the therapy magazine for lesbians, gays, bisexuals and their relations. Inaugural World Autism Congress. Independent Psychiatric Association of Russia IPAR. Independent Psychoanalytic Societies. Independent Sobriety Association. Indian Academy of Neurosciences IANS. Indian Association for Child and Adolescent Mental Health IACM. Indian Association for Medical Informatics IAMI. Indian Association for Social Psychiatry IASP. Indian Association of E-Healthcare IAEHC. Indian Health Service HIS. Indian Institute of Technology ITT. Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. Indian Psychiatric Society IPS. Indian Psychological Association. Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Science ISABS. Indian Society of Clinical and Experimental Hypnosis ISET. Indiana Alliance for the Mentally Ill UMI. Indiana Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. Indiana Counseling Association ICA. Indiana Division of Mental Health and Addiction. Indiana Mental Health Counselors Association IMITCA. Indiana Psychological Association. Indiana School Counselors Association. Indiana University Bloomington, Carl F. Schuessler Institute for Social Research. Indo-American Psychiatric Association IAPA. Indonesian Psychiatric Association IPA. Indo-Pacific Association of Law, Medicine and Science. Industrial Organizational Behavior Graduate Student Conference. Infinity/Severux. Infinex. Information and telemedical technologies in healthcare. Information for tomorrow. Information technology assisted by computer. Information Technology Association of America ITAA. Information Technology in Community Health ICH. Inland Northwest Health Services INHS. Inner Focus Process Training. Innovation and Change in Israeli Society ICS. Insight Information Company. Institute for Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy REBT. Instituto de Maiores y Servicios Sociales IMSERSO. Institut de Formação Ramon Serra. Institut de Recherche Pierre Fabre. Institut für Analytische Kinder und Jugendlichen Psychotherapie in Hessen. Institut für Logotherapie und Existenzanalyse nach Viktor E. Frankl. Institut für Psychoanalyse der Deutschen Psychoanalytischen Gesellschaft. Frankfurt am Main. Institut für Psychoanalyse Nürnberg. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie der Arbeitsgruppe Stuttgart. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie Düsseldorf, Düsseldorf Institut für Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie Freiburg, Freiburg Institut für Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie Hamburg. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie Kassel, Kassel Institut für Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie Ostwestfalen, Ostwestfalen Institut für Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy. Institut für Psychoanalyse und Psychotherapie Siegen-Wittgenstein. Institut für Psychoanalyse, Psychotherapie und Psychosomatik Berlin. Institut für Psychodrama auf der Grundlage der Jungschen Psychologie, Institut für Psychodrama on the basis of Jungian psychology. Institut für Psychodrama, Dr. Elame Shirin. Institut für Psychodrama. Institut für Psychologie Fakultätsvertretung Grund und Integrative Wissenschaften. Institut für Psychotherapie Berlin. Institut für Psychotherapie und Psychoanalyse Heidelberg/Mannheim. Institut für Systemische Therapie IST. Institut Milton H. Erickson. Institut Milton H. Erickson d'Avignon Provence. Institut Milton H. Erickson de Barcelona. Institut Milton H. Erickson de Belgique. Institut Milton H. Erickson de la Ville de Quebec. Institut Milton H. Erickson de l'Utauiers. Institut Milton H. Erickson de Normandie. Institut Milton H. Erickson de Paris. Institut Milton H. Erickson du Hainaut. Institut Milton H. Erickson du Nord de la France. Institut Milton H. Erickson Méditerranée de Toulon Marseille. Institut National de la Santé et de la Recherche Médicale INSERM, French Institute of Health and Medical Research. Institut Pasteur. Institut Québécois de Thérapie et de Hypnose Ericksoniens. Institut Suisse de Prévention de l'Alcoolisme et autres toxicomanies ISPA. Schweizerische Fachstelle für Alkohol und andere Drogenprobleme. Institut za Psychodramua, Beograd, Institute of Psychodrama, Belgrade. Institute for Advanced Clinical Training. Institute for American Values. Institute for Applied Behavioral Science, National Training Laboratories NTL. Institute for Attachment and Child Development IACD. Institute for Behavioral Healthcare IBH. Institute for Better Health IBH. Institute for Communicative and Cognitive Neurosciences ICANS. Institute for Defense and Government Advancement IDGA. Institute for Development, Research, Advocacy and Applied Care IDRAC. Institute for Educational Leadership IEL. Institute for Europe. Institute for Health and Recovery. Institute for Health Technology Transformation IHT2. Institute for Healthcare Communication IHC. Institute for Healthcare Improvement IHI. Institute for Humane Studies. Institute for Imago Relationship Therapy. Institute for Intercultural Dialogue. Institute for International Connections IIC. Institute for International Research IIR. Institute for Interpersonal Relations. Institute for Jewish Medical Ethics. Institute for Juvenile Research. Institute for Law, Psychiatry, and Public Policy. Institute for Life Coach Training. Institute for Meditation and Psychotherapy IMP. Institute for Music, Health, and Education. Institute for Narrative Therapy. Institute for Natural Resources INR. Institute for Perception Research IPO, Center for Research on User System Interaction. Institute for Psychiatric Wellness. Institute for Psychoanalysis of Chicago. Institute for Psychoanalytic Education IPE. Institute for Psychoanalytic Training and Research IPTR. Institute for Psychohistory. Institute for Psychological Health IPH. Institute for Psychological Study of the Arts IPSA. Institute for Systems Biology ISB. Institute for Thanatotherapy. Institute for the Advancement of Human Behavior IAHB. Institute for the Advancement of Self-Psychology IASP. Institute for the Advancement of Social Work Research IASR. Institute for the Learning Sciences. Institute for the Psychoanalytic Study of Subjectivity. Institute for the Study of Antisocial Behavior in Youth IAY. Institute for the Study of Gambling and Commercial Gaming. Institute for the Study of Therapeutic Change ISTC. Institute for Trauma and Addictive Disorders ITAD. Institute for Youth Education and Community. Institute Milton H. Erickson of Belo Horizonte. Institute of Applied Science and Medicine IASM. Institute of Australasian Psychiatrists. Institute of Behavioral Research IBR. Institute of Biodynamic Psychology and Psychotherapy IBPP. Institute of Clinical and Forensic Sexology. Institute of Cognitive Science Studies ICCS. Institute of Contemporary Psychoanalysis ICP. Institute of Contemporary Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis ICPNP. Institute of Contemporary Psychotherapy, Australia, ICP. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers IEEE, Computer Society. Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers IEEE, Society on Social Implications of Technology SSIT. Institute of Group Analysis IGA. Institute of Health Economics IHE. Institute of Holistic Mental Health. Institute of Medicine IOM. Institute of Medicine IOM. Department of Psychiatry and Mental Health. Institute of Mental Health, Singapore. Institute of Mental Health Law. Institute of Noetic Sciences IONS. Institute of Oncology Sremska Kame NICA, Academy of Stud NICA. Institute of Psychoanalysis. Institute of Psychotherapy and Social Studies IPSS. Institute of Telemedicine and Telecare. Institute of Transactional Analysis ITA. Institute of Transpersonal Psychology ITP. Institute on Domestic Violence in the African American Community IDVAC. Instituto Boruense de Psicodrama IBAP. Instituto Brasileiro de Hipnologia. Instituto Colombiano del Sistema Nervioso, Clínica Montserrat. Instituto de Criminologia y Psicologia Forense del Uruguay, Uruguay Institute of Criminology and Forensic Psychology. Instituto de Neurociencias Aplicada a la Clínica INAC. Clinical Neurosciences Institute. Instituto de Psicodrama de Ribeirão Preto IPRP. Instituto de Psicodrama e Psicoterapia de Grupo de Campinas IPC. Instituto de Psicodrama J. L. Moreno de Buenos Aires. Instituto de Psicodrama J. L. Moreno de São Paulo Moreno SP. Instituto de Psicoterapia e Psicodrama IPP. Instituto de Psicotraumatologia de Mozambique. Instituto de Sexualidade Humana, Institute of Human Sexuality. Instituto de Terapia Cognitiva Indico, Institute of Cognitive Therapy. Instituto Gaia de Psicodrama Gaia. Instituto Mexicano de Investigación de Familia y Población IMAFAP, Mexican Institute for the Investigation of Family and Population. Instituto Mexicano de Sexologia IMSEX, Mexican Institute of Sexology. Instituto Milton H. Erickson de Buenos Aires. Instituto Milton H. Erickson de la Ciudad de Mexico. Instituto Milton H. Erickson de São Paulo. Instituto Piaget. Instituto Português de Oncologia de Francisco Janti. Portuguese Oncology Institute. Instituto Ria Pertence de Psicodrama IRP. Instituto Sede Sapientiae, Departamento de Psicodrama. Instituto Superior de Psicologia Aplicada ISPA, Graduate Institute of Applied Psychology. Instituto Universitario Centro de Educación Médica y Investigaciones Clínicas SEMIC, Departamento de Psychiatría, Department of Psychiatry. Integra. Integrative Medicine for Mental Health IMMH. Interaction-design.org Foundation. Interactive Media Institute IMI. Interagency Council on Child Abuse and Neglect ICANN. Inter-American Society of Psychology SIP, Sociedad Interamericana de Psicología. Intercultural Communication Institute ICI. Interdisciplinary Autoimmune Summit. Interdisciplinary Society of Biological Psychiatry IGBP. Interdisciplinary.net. Interessenvereinigung für Anfallskranke in Köln. Cologne Epilepsy Special Interest Group. Interessenvereinigung für Anfallskranke Köln IFA. International Academy for Intercultural Research IAIR. International Academy for Suicide Research IASR. International Academy of Applied Neuropsychology. International Academy of Behavioral Medicine, Counseling and Psychotherapy IABP. International Academy of Eclectic Psychotherapists and the World Association of Eclectic Hypnotherapists IAEP/WAEH. International Academy of Law and Mental Health ELMITE. Académie Internationale de Droit et de Santé Mentale. International Academy of Legal Medicine IALM. International Academy of Sex Research IASR. International Affiliation of Compeer Programs. International AIDS Society IAS. International Alliance for Child and Adolescent Mental Health and Schools Intercams. International Alliance for Invitational Education IAIE. International Alliance of Patients Organizations IAPO. International Anxiety Disorders Symposium IADS. International Association Autism Europe IAAE. International Association for Adolescent Health IAAH. International Association for Analytical Psychology IAAP. International Association for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry and Allied Professions IACAPUP. Association Internationale de Psychiatrie de l'Enfant et de l'Adolescent et de Professions Associées. International Association for Chronic Fatigue Syndrome and Myalgic Encephalomyelitis IACF/ME. International Association for Cognitive Psychotherapy IACP. International Association for Counseling IAC. International Association for Cross-Cultural Psychology IACP. International Association for Development of the Information Society IADIS. International Association for Educational and Vocational Guidance. International Association for Emergency Psychiatry IAEP. International Association for Forensic Psychotherapy IAFP. International Association for Group Psychotherapy and Group Processes IAGP. International Association for Managerial and Organizational Psychosynthesis IMAP. International Association for Near-Death Studies IANS. International Association for Pain and Chemical Dependency IAPT. International Association for Psychoanalytic Self-Psychology IAPSP. International Association for Psychology and the Performing Arts IAPA. International Association for Relational Psychoanalysis and Psychotherapy Europe. International Association for Relationship Research IARR. International Association for Research in Economic Psychology Europe. International Association for Social Work with Groups IASWG. International Association for Suicide Prevention IASP. International Association for the History of Psychoanalysis IAHP. International Association for the Scientific Study of Intellectual Disabilities IACID. International Association for the Study of Dreams IASD. International Association for the Study of Forced Migration IASFM. International Association for the Study of Pain IASP. International Association for the Treatment of Sexual Offenders IATSO. International Association for Women's Mental Health IAMIT. International Association of Applied Psychology IAAP. International Association of Chinese Medical Specialists and Psychologists IACMSP. International Association of Counseling Services IACS. International Association of Cyberpsychology, Training and Rehabilitation IACTR. International Association of Eating Disorders Professionals IEDP. International Association of Eclectic Psychotherapy. International Association of Empirical Aesthetics IAEA. International Association of Forensic Criminologists IAFC. International Association of Forensic Mental Health Services IAFMS. International Association of Gerontology and Geriatrics IAGG. International Association of Holistic Psychology IAHP. International Association of Individual Psychology IAIP. International Association of Information and Research in Family Education. International Association of Institutions for Training and Research in Logotherapy and Existential Analysis. International Association of Marriage and Family Counselors IAMFC. International Association of Muslim Psychologists, Europe, IAMP. International Association of Muslim Psychologists IAMP. International Association of Privacy Professionals IAPP. International Association of Risk Management in Medicine. URM. International Association of Rubenfeld Synergists INARS. International Association of Schools of Social Work IASU. International Association of Science and Technology for Development IASTED. International Association of Technology, Education and Development IATED. International Bowling Federation IBF. International Behavioral Neuroscience Society IBNS. International Behavioral and Neural Genetics Society IBANGS. International Biologic Group. International Brain Injury Association IBIA. International Brain Research Organization IBRO. International Business Communications. International Cannabinoid Research Society ICRS. International Center for Aggression Replacement Training ICART. International Center for Clinical Excellence ICCE. International Center for Clubhouse Development ICCD. International Center for the Enhancement of Learning Potential ICELP. International Center for the Study of Psychiatry and Psychology ICSP. International Center of Mental Health Policy and Economics ICMP. International Coach Federation ICF. International Coalition Against Sexual Harassment ICASH. International Cognitive Linguistics Association ICLA. International College of Geriatric Psychoneuropharmacology ICN. International College of Person-Centered Medicine ICM. International College of Psychosomatic Medicine ICPM. International Commission on Occupational Health ICOH. Commission Internationale de la Santé au Travail SIST. International Committee Against Mental Illness. International Committee for Adlerian Summer Schools and Institutes ICASI. International Communal Studies Association ICSA. International Computer Science Conventions. International Conference for the Advancement of Private Practice in Clinical Social Work ICAP. International Conference of Smart Homes and Health Telematics ICOST. International Conference on Alzheimer's and Parkinson's Disease. International Conference on Biomedical Engineering and Informatics. International Conference on Client-Centered and Experiential Psychotherapy ICAP. International Conference on Computers Helping People with Special Needs ICHP. International Conference on E-Medicine. International Conference on Memory. International Conference on Psychiatric Museums and History of Psychiatry ICMIDP. International Conference on Psychophysiology of Panic Attacks. International Conference on Reconstructing Health Psychology. International Conference on Social Dilemmas. International Conference on Social Sciences. International Conference on Social Work and Mental Health. International Conference on Survey Non-Response. International Conference on System Science in Healthcare. International Congress on Addiction. International Congress on Alcohol and Drug Dependence ICAA. International Congress on Autoimmunity. International Congress on Schizophrenia Research. International Congress on Vascular Dementia. International Consortium for Experiential Learning ICEL. International Convention Management Services ICMS. International Council for Central and East European Studies. International Council for Psychoanalytic Self-Psychology. International Council of Nurses ICN. International Council of Professional Therapists ICPT. International Council of Psychologists ICP. International Council on Alcohol and Addictions ICAA. Conseil International sur les problèmes de l'alcoolisme et de toxicomanie CIPAT. International Council on Alcohol, Drugs, and Traffic Safety. International Council on Medical and Care Componentics ICMIC. International Counseling Conference. International Critical Incident Stress Foundation ICISF. International Doctors in Alcoholics Anonymous IDAA. International Drug Policy Reform Conference. International Early Psychosis Association IEPA. International E-Health Association IEHA.